Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my stream. So today, I just streaming NRG versus T1 only because I need to take a rest in this afternoon.
Was just dominant from EG, especially in this first map. EG came in and looked so incredibly prepped on their fracture. Every time they used an ultimate, they had a cool preset plan or a fast reaction to support their teammates, and just the depth of this squad is, I think, what impressed me the most.
And what a way to close this match with that play from Demon, just popping out the blaze from hell, just getting the kill from the operator. To me, the most important bit is the fact that they're living this experience so full-heartedly. Like, we see them every single round, with every single win. They just keep building up, and now they're the first team to make it out of groups.
Yeah, and for DRX now, this leaves so many questions. They're always the team who's dominant in the group stage, making it out the swiftest without really looking like they're breaking a sweat. But in this one now, they're down in the lower bracket. They're at risk of being eliminated. It's a very new situation for the Korean squad.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be shocked if there's some sweating on that stage when we see DRX take it later on. But that being said, though, with those crucial matches underway, let's actually take a look at our group stage brackets. First, we'll start with Group A. As you can see, NRG T1. They're going to be clashing against one another today to determine who gets that top spot out of Group A. Will it be the Korean hopefuls of T1 or the uncrowned kings of NA with NRG? And then on the bottom, a situation that I didn't think that we would see, Na'Vi and EDG both down there. That's going to be an intense matchup there.
Yeah, and not only that, they do not even have a day to rest. They're playing today. For example, in the situation of DRX, they did lose today, but they have one day to rest up and kind of build up, you know, and recover themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, even for like Na'Vi, right? They jumped straight into it. EDG got a little bit of time to relax. We'll see how this plays out when the match begins. But let's jump over, though, to the other side of the bracket and see what's up with Group B. Because over here, EG, well, they managed to punch their ticket. First team to do so, and now we await to see who joins them out of that one, Mimi.
This is a scary-looking bracket if you're Foot or Attacking Soul Esports, both down there in our first elimination game of this group. And if you win that, you get to face DRX, and it'll be a really big uphill battle either way for those squads. But they both had a time to recoup, and I think it'll be an interesting stylistic match where Foot is normally super slow, super structured, and ASE was already just displaying their crazy pace on the stage.
Yeah, I think it's also going to be complicated because we see that every single matchup in that group has been a 2-0, but definitely in the server it didn't feel like that. We could see the resilience of some of the teams, so I expect some bangers for today.
Oh yeah, that matchup, when you're fighting for your life, backs against the wall, that's really when you get to see the best of the best come through. But as always, peeps, we want you to use the hashtags VCT as well as Valorant Masters. Let us know what you think about the show, what's been going on, who you're rooting for today. We want to hear from you, and then we might actually feature your tweets on the broadcast. Look at that, technology at work. What a wild time to live. Of course, we also want to know who do you think has the best chance at surviving today's elimination matches, right? Is it going to be EDG, Na'Vi, Foot, or Attacking Soul? Make sure you scan that QR code right there. Okay, cast your vote. We want to hear from you. We'll see, because that actually is an interesting poll. I'm curious to see who the community thinks will survive today, Mimi.
I feel like a lot of people will think Na'Vi, but I think that EDG game could actually be quite close. I would almost say that Foot is probably the most heavily favored in their matchup today.
Listen, it's not an easy time to be an EMEA fan, okay? So just bear with me on this one. It could be a devastating day for the region.
We'll bear with you.
Yeah, we got you covered. But thankfully, we have some fun and games because before we move on to today's matchups, it's time to play ourselves a quick, fun game. It's something that we like to call Lost in Translation, and we want to see how much of the Japanese language we have absorbed here in our trip to Tokyo. And, you know, not to flex, this will be my 3rd time. You would think, though, that I would know a little bit of Japanese.
You're gonna do great
3 days, he has already flexed twice about this is the 3rd time that he's.
I don't know what you're talking about, B. I would never do such a thing. All right, so here's how it works. All right, guys. So you're basically going to hear an in-game voice line in Japanese,
Okay.
and then we have to guess the translation. So let's actually go ahead and hear from our first Asian, and it's going to be Yoru. So let's go ahead and take a listen. What do we have? We got to hear it.
I can't hear it.
I can't hear it too well.
So quiet.
Okay, we're triaging it right now. This is live entertainment at work, people. But
I feel like there's a ghost in my head.
there you go.
悪かったな。
Okay. I definitely don't know what that
Okay.
is. Let's go ahead and see.
It's short.
Oh, wait, so,
It sounded like he's only saying a few words in that one. So probably not an alt then.
yeah, okay,
Okay.
here are the options. Because Lord knows I wasn't going to be able to guess this. All right, my portal broke, won't happen again, block vision here, or they dragged Chamber out of his corner office. I can smell his cologne from here.
Probably the last one.
And I love the last one.
Yeah, it's got to be the last one, right?
I'm going.
I'm torn.
I got it.
Going...
All right,
Got it down.
I got mine. All right, ready? All right, of course. Okay.
I don't know. I'm between A and C. I don't
You
know.
can only pick one.
I went
Okay, I'm
B.
picking A.
Okay.
I went B.
I'm also picking A.
You went A. Okay, let's see what the answer is. I'm kind of curious because I'm right.
Won't happen again.
It will.
He's cheating.
I
I'm
use
calling it.
context
He's
clues.
cheating.
I use context clues. It
What
just-
context clues?
you know, it sounded like
That's a lie.
it genuinely did sound like won't happen again.
No, it's
It sounded like dismissive, but like in a
You know,
in an understanding
maybe
manner.
if you had been here 3 times already, you would know that.
Oh,
that's
sorry.
kidding.
My bad. I've
Honestly,
only been
it's
here
just
once.
because I'm a genius, genuinely. Okay, I lost my eraser. Next one, let's go ahead and listen to it. It's going to be Raise. What do we have here? It's in Japanese. Go again.
アルティメット準備完了
That sounds too good.
Okay.
アルティメット準備完了
Okay, all right, let's see. What are our answers here?
完了
A, my ult's ready. B, can't use that. C, someone's in defender spawn. And D, I think we need the spike. Huh.
Going.
She sounded pretty, like, casual.
You're cheating.
But all of these
No.
are casual. None of these are
If I get this right, if I get this right using the same exact logic that I applied to the first one, I am a gosh darn genius. I chose A.
I went with D.
I chose A again. I'm taking the same approach I did to the ACT. Just guess the same letter and you'll eventually get it right.
All right,
Right.
let's see what the result is. What's the result? Yo! I'm a genius. Never mind. I'm a genius.
So he is cheating.
I don't like
I'm
this
a
game.
genius.
That is actually crazy that
I'm
he's
a
continuing
genius.
to cheat at this game.
Everyone thinks everyone's like, oh, GB, blah, blah, blah. Look at me. Predictor. I'm the
Jesus.
predicting champion.
The
and now
predictor.
the predictor.
Okay, noted predictor.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
I think we'll call it a wrap on that one. I definitely want to do this game again, Kurt. So please make it
Yeah,
happen.
please.
But in any case, though, guys, coming up next, we have some more Japanese love as we're going to have local caster Uda joining us here. And of course, we'll see you on the other side. You don't want to miss it, folks. Welcome back to Masters Tokyo, and joining us here at the desk is a member of our Japanese broadcast team. It's the one and only Oda here. How's it going, buddy?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful to have you here. First, I want to ask you, how long have you been working in esports?
e スポーツでのお仕事は何年されてるんですか
12年。
12 years
Wow.
Wow.
Same here.
Oh, thank you. Nice to
There
meet
you
you.
go. All right.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
First, most importantly, how did Valorant become so big in Japan? I know this. I've loved this country for a very long time, and the fighting game community has been very important to me here. So it's incredible to see games like Valorant get bigger.
日本でバロラントがここまで人気が出た要因って何なんでしょうねと、一ファンとしてもすごく日本は注目していたんですけれども、
はい
本当に驚いてます。
ありがとうございます。まず、I can speak English. Sorry.
It's okay. I can't speak Japanese.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
Sorry, everyone.
Okay, okay. ライアットっていうところで、競技シーンでそこで戦う、チーム選手がまずは成長してくれて、そして、キャスター、我々が盛り上げて、そこを支えてくれるファンの方々がいて、そして何よりタリック・シュラウドのような、なんだろうな、ストリーマー、ジャパンでは日本ではストリーマーがすごい人気でして、でこの競技シーンを、ストリーマーが面白いよって広げてくれたこと、はい、まずそこで、その中で昨年、この FPS っていうタイトルでなかなか日本としては成績が伸び悩んでいたところでゼータディビジョンがマスターズで3位を獲得した、そこで一気にメディアの皆さんが取り上げていただいて、彼らがバロラントのプロゲーマーではなくスーパースターと、海外のプロゲーマーすべてがスーパースターとなりました。で、日本の皆さんもそのスーパースターを見に盛り上がっています。
So first and foremost, I have to thank the Riot Games, making it fundamental for us, getting easier for us to work, and then players and the fans to enjoy this game.
Wow.
Yeah, and then probably we have to mention about the Zeta Division getting into top 3 of the world at the VCT 2022 Master. So that, Zeta Division became a superstar here in Japan. So that the fan knows that all the players who play Valorant are the superheroes. So, everybody who are here at the moment is enjoying the moment, watching superheroes playing right in front of them.
Well, we are definitely enjoying the moment as well, and this audience has been genuinely incredible. Thank you so much.
本当にありがとうございます。もう
いえいえ
ファンの皆さんを見ているのも感激しています。
And they've been amazing. We've been to so many different places for Valorant and gotten to see the local fans there. But it seems like there is just a special passion with the Japanese fans here. Even though there's not a Japanese team playing, still tons of people have come out, are cheering for every team without bias. What do you think it is that makes the fans here just so passionate about the game beyond any specific team?
日本のバロラントのファンってその国境を越えてなんかバイアスなくどのチームのことも平等に応援しているっていうすごく素敵なパッションがあると思うんですけど、それはどうしてなんでしょうね。
おもてなし。
hospitality.
That's very good hospitality.
みんなもう本当にスーパースターがもうスーパースターだと思って見てるんで、メジャーリーガースーパースターだと見てるんで憧れの存在です。
Everybody look up to each players who are on the stage for the Valorant. So they're superstar, superhero. So they admire and look up to.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
that respect is amazing.
Respect.
And
Incredible, incredible.
It's really shown from everyone here in the crowd. For you, watching the tournament thus far through these first few days of the group stage, what was your expectation going in, and what teams have broken that expectation? What's been the biggest surprise for you thus far?
ここまで2日間見てきて一番のサプライズは何でしたか？
もうたくさんありすぎてこの短い時間では語りきれないところはあるんですけど、昨日のやっぱりイービルジネスと、あとは DRX の試合でデーモン1が、日本に来れるのか来れないのかっていうところから、あとは疲れもあったと思います。その中でどれぐらいのパフォーマンスを出してくれるのかなこの日本でっていうところで、我々が想像してた以上のパフォーマンスを見せてくれたので、そこはもうサプライズというか、もう僕にしてはびっくりしましたね。嬉しかったです。
There's so many things that I want to talk about, but if I have to mention one, that will be yesterday's DRX versus Evil Genius, and we weren't sure if Demon One could come to Japan or not, but then he make it. Maybe they must be very tired, but then we feel the energy from the stage, and they got victorious, and they were way higher than we expected. So it was really a big surprise for me.
Well, before we let you go, unfortunately, I wish I could have you on my analyst desk every day. I would like to ask if you want to give a message to the audience at home from the Japanese Valorant community and also to the people in here as well.
もうね、ずっと解説でここにいていただきたいんですけれども、時間がないので、
そうですね
最後に、はい、ファンにメッセージお願いします。
本当に我々の日本のこのコミュニティ、まあ、ファンの皆さんのバロラント愛というところを本当に海外の皆さんにも知ってほしいなというところで、ここでさよならは言いたくないので、日本語で「See you again」みたいなところで「またね」って伝えていただいていいですか。
Okay, this. On behalf of Valorant community, I would like to tell everybody how much we love the game, and I don't want to say goodbye, so I want to tell you the Japanese word for see you again. またね。
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 またね
またね。
皆さんこれ3人で言ったら拍手くださいね。はい、ということでグローバルの皆さん。
Okay, let's get together then. また
Okay.
ね。
2, 1またね。
All right, well, I think that's a good place to close out. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you
So much.
Thank you so much, Pizzuka, as well. Ora, ladies and gentlemen, but folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And of course, you guys at home are going to get your show back. We'll go back to ours, and we have NRG taking on T1. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to Masters Tokyo. Of course, it's time to talk about our first match of the day. T1 takes on NRG. And a win here moves you to the knockouts. And of course, you will have to end up, well, let me go ahead. Let me restart that real fast because a lot of things is happening. The point is, you got to win this game.
You got to win this game. Stay alive. It's our first elimination match, so big pressure. Or excuse me.
No, I was like, you guys okay?
Me.
I know that interview was great, so I understand that you're a little bit out of the zone.
I'll be very honest with everyone watching at home right now. That was one of the coolest things I ever did in my entire career. And it actually made me rather emotional.
It's like a little bit of chills,
yeah. So allow me a moment to reset for a moment here. But let's go ahead and move on and talk about T1, our first squad here, as we have really just this squad has had a rough history with the core of NRG, right? The famous core, the Crashies, the Finesse, the Victors, right? It has caused problems for this team in the past. Mimi, T1's gonna have to overcome that here today.
That they will. They got their first win internationally against CDG, but now they're facing a team, well, this is a Korean squad playing in the Pacific League. 3 out of these 5 players competed in Valorant in North America, and all 3 of them have played against this core and lost them. And I think the most crushing was this one. When Saya was on the guard, they beat Optic, that is now NRG, to make it to Reykjavik, and then at Reykjavik, that core knocked them to the lower bracket in the first round, and that heartbreak was there for the others too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little bit of everything. They've been on the winning side. They've also been on the losing. We feel, though, that those losses were harder than what the wins meant per se. So now they get a chance of redemption, and we love those stories.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we did see T1 take on EDG, right? And this was obviously EDG looking for that first win, right? For China, for the region. But for T1, it was really about a similar path that EG had, right? And that Foot have had, which has been like a team that no one really thought would be here, but yet here they are punching way above what we thought was their weight class and showing that they are heavyweights in the game.
I think it would be a milestone for either of the teams. For T1, it was their first international win. Now they have a chance to make it out of groups and make it in amazing fashion, making it being the winners, the #1 out of this 4 teams.
And the way in which they beat EDG, I was really impressed with, because honestly, they let map 2 slip away. It should have been a 2-0. And then on the 3rd map of Pearl, it was slipping away from them again. But they recovered at the end, pushed it to overtime, ended up winning out in that series. And for T1, I think that's a milestone, not just in winning the first game, but showing great mental resiliency and being able to adapt to an EDG, which has a really crazy play style that's pretty hard to compete with.
Yeah, and if anything, it just shows that this T1 team is the real deal, and they are here to compete. We actually did get an opportunity to get some words from Saya player as the team had arrived. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Just gonna grab you real quick, Saya, if I could ask you a quick question. Just after the EDG game the other day, with Kang putting up an insane performance, are you more or less scared facing off against Artist today?
Honestly, for me, Kang is more scared.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any particular reason why?
I mean, he's always insane, like he's never missed shots, but yeah, I mean, that's why.
Okay, excellent. Looking forward to the game, man. Good luck today.
All right, and of course, you know, the head-to-head matchup today to watch out for will most definitely be Saya player taking on Artis. Artis, you know, I think had his redemption arc yesterday, Mimi. He was able to take out his former teammates, and even though there's no bad blood there, it was still nice to see Artis kind of have that moment to really show, like, hey, I'm here with this squad. We won as a team. We lose as a team. The journey that NRG have taken with Artis has been incredible.
Yeah, Artis was a really strong player, but for Saya as well, I think what impressed me was how his style has shifted now playing with T1. He's so much more aggressive than he was on the guard. He's flexible as well. His raise is amazing, his jet is amazing, and his individual performance was one of the big reasons that T1 managed to push that series over the line.
Yeah, but there is something that both of these players struggle with, and is actually finding success in those first duels. We're talking about the duelists, and of course, as you're saying, Mimi, the change in the being extra aggressive. Sometimes you're not successful with that, but both of the players managed to find the impact outside of that. If this is not working, okay, I will let my team do something else. We will change the pace. We will try a different way, and we'll still get the win.
Yeah, well, let's, of course, go ahead and move on, though, to NRG, because, you know, I think that this is a team that is clearly started to find their footing. They're on the path, and NRG are a force to be reckoned with here in Tokyo, Mimi.
That they are. They normally have slow starts into international tournaments, but here they showed up and instantly looked good. They had great preparation against Navi, despite them going back and forth on all these compositions, and their mid-rounding was great. Starting off on Lotus, I think they had great ideas of how to play against this Fade Raze, using the Neon to get ahead of that, and then slowing down their mid-rounds. But they also did still show issues on that one. This Lotus ended up slipping away, I think in part due to kind of a bad read on how to play their defensive side. They were really committing to these aggressive fights and the Victor operator on the Neon. It didn't really work out.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe making too many concessions, maybe being too aggressive, and a lot of clutches that we also saw for those rounds. But hey, we saw the way that they improved their game, and they only have to keep it up.
Yeah. And they did close it out on that map 3. Not just closed it out, but they did so very dominantly. So this is an NRG that is showing up in great form, more so than they normally do at internationals, but it's a T1 who's already defined their expectations and has won their first match. And we'll have to see if they can make it to their first playoffs.
Yeah, let's see how far they can go with this one. But folks, our coaches are ready to go. We are ready to go. So let's go ahead and get this show started because everyone's fighting for survival here. It's T1 versus NRG, FUT versus Attacking Soul, EDG versus Na'Vi. Day 3 of Valorant Masters starts right now.
那是 EDG 的实力，总有一天会看见的。如果技不如人的话，我们就回去再练，再练，多练，拿命练。
I watched the match against T1. He was playing good operators. I hope we make a good fight in operator.
CNET 这个人就狙击枪很厉害。但是我也不怕他，只是我也没有发挥真正的实力吧。就算 CNET 是冠军截锋，我也想把你打败，而且我觉得我能够把你打败。
Of course, they are good players, but it's fine. They will see in the game.
Lower'dan gelip daha da hırs dolu bir şekilde, daha da sağlam şekilde geleceğiz. Hatamızı ders çıkartıp daha iyi oynayacağımıza eminim.
我觉得我们状态发挥到自然的话，我觉得我们会比他们更厉害很多。
Yani kim gelirse gelsin biz asla rakibi küçümsemeyiz, her türlü oynarız.
NRG 팀은 저희가 북미에서 연습을 할 때부터 그리고 저희가 그때랑은 많이 달라졌기 때문에
Before they moved over to Korea, we were dominating them in scrims, so I think they're going to remember that.
아마 다르게 느낄 것 같아요, 저희를.
When I reach my ultimate form, the world is not ready.
Okay, let's get started. Match 1 of the day. NRG T1, NRG, you are higher seed. So would you like Team A or Team B?
Team B.
Team B, so T1, you will be Team A. And we will start with your first ban.
Split.
Ban split, your ban?
Fracture.
Fracture, and so map number 1 from T1.
Lotus.
And side on Lotus.
Attack.
And then map number 2.
Bind.
Side on Bind.
Defense.
Defense. Next set of bans, we'll start with T1. You have Ascent, Haven, and Pearl.
And Haven.
And Haven, your ban? Ascent.
Ban Ascent.
Okay. Map number 3 is going to be Pearl, side on Pearl. Defense. Okay, I'm gonna run through this really quick. First set of bans, we have Split and Fracture. Map number 1 is Lotus with NRG on attack. Map number 2 is Bind with T1 on defense. Next set of bans are Haven and Ascent. Map number 3 will be Pearl with T1 on defense.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, good luck to you both.
Good luck.
Crossed paths before, but now the stakes have never been higher. A playoff spot is on the line. NRG T1. Let's do this.
At least Zeta, Saya player and Ben already have about the experience against Odd Optic Gaming in NA and from another team position.
Here to Tokyo and being 1 away from playoffs.
And no one gave them the time of day. No one thought that they would be in this position coming out of lock-in. But here they are right now, and I will be so as far as to say, even though I have immense respect for NRG Kukuka, T1 have a very real shot to win this game. It's just going to take a lot of work.
One of these teams is going to make a real statement today. Both of the games that they have played, they were a little bit shaky, not easy wins at all. But today, this is the win that matters the most. It's actually the winner of a group that has been ruthless.
And it's the question for NRG. Can they make it a clean run? Pretty much every global event, they go down to the lower bracket in groups. They just barely make it out. In Americas, it was 3 weeks of rough gameplay at the start to recover. It was a lower bracket run to make it to the finals. This is their chance to do it cleanly, show that they are still in the peak form where they could compete with Cloud back in Americas.
But think about how incredible it would be if T1 were the one to have the clean run into that playoff bracket. How the story would shift dramatically, and maybe, just maybe, people look at the name T1 when they see it on VLR, on Run It Back, wherever it is, and say, yeah, no, I think they actually do have a shot.
Especially now that DRX is on the lower bracket already on the other group, the story for this team could have a major swift.
Especially considering the maps here. We start on Lotus, which has been a map that T1 is very comfortable with. They pick into it here and they play this Harbor Viper composition. And, well, NRG struggled a little bit yesterday. They let this map slip versus Na'Vi on their defensive side with, I think, a bit of issues on their aggression there with Victor's Neon. This is still a map that they've been very competent on back in Americas.
Definitely T1 saw something in this Lotus yesterday that looked a little bit shaky on the side of NRG. Maybe they decide to pick onto that one. The problem is, I agree with you, Mimi. I don't think they're going to make the same mistakes. We're not going to see a Victor maybe taking too many risks. I think that we're going to get the Victor that we saw in Split.
T1's composition on this defensive side will oftentimes revolve around a lot of retakes, especially towards B and A. What Harbor Viper is good at is flooding, and you can see it in their defensive side win rate, 64%. They're solid on this side, which is difficult here on Lotus, but NRG are really good at playing the mid-round on this attacking side, finding that free site, and getting really strong forward positions with Victor and Crashes.
That's going to be a fascinating matchup to see unfold as we get ready to jump into the action. And I just got word, we are ready to go. So let's go ahead and send it over to your casters. You know what, they have a little bit of jet lag, but it ain't gonna stop them from killing it in this cast. It's of course Pansy and Hypoc.
You're absolutely right, GB. Nothing is going to keep us from this game. Again, we see the likes of Bind, we see NRG coming out, especially after T1 as well recently. Pretty hard to trot, but jet lag aside, our little excitement aside, what do we now expect with these two teams? We've had a little glimpse of them, one match played each. Where do we now see this head-to-head looking?
I honestly feel like T1 come out in that first series looking pretty good, honestly. It's a trial by fire to play against EDG.
True.
And again, it's just because of the playstyle, right? They're almost forced to approach that very differently. Now, the concern today is, do they come in and almost over-prep for NRG? I think there's definitely something they've identified here from yesterday's performance, potentially versus Na'Vi, because NRG dropped that, and Na'Vi struggled regionally massively.
Strange.
Massively on this
Yeah,
map.
it's weird. But I still find it hard to put Na'Vi in context, regional
Sure.
to international, but you're right. There were tangibles there to hold on to, which made NRG look a little bit flustered to a degree. Now, has T1 got that capability to exploit it, though? Can they push on those limits? Do we see a different look from Victor today? There's so many potentials that could change up here.
Absolutely. I think this composition builds around what their big win condition is going to be in terms of pacing, in terms of bringing that kind of EDG ethos, I guess, from that opening series across here to Lotus.
Oh, the fans are excited for this one. It could be a cracking game. I don't know what version of which team we get coming out today. You know, we could see the championship run look in NRG. We could see that T1 deadly form able to handle powerful individuals like they did against Kankan, but we wait and see. We already start out with Victor taking a whole lot of space. That Frenzy posted up nice and deep here. Does he get the little green light that he wants? That, absolutely not. Sire player played in very nicely off the back of Carpe. Beautiful start.
Time to perfection there. Well, isolate Victor as well, somebody who is pivotal in terms of NRG's mid-rounding on the attack. She's will clear through the Trailblazer. NRG stacked up here as well, but already 3 T1 bodies ready to defend the C site.
Yeah, pivoting. They have to. They've already got so many of these rotations in, so much of that counter utility in place. It's somewhat at least denied that springboard effect that maybe NRG wanted to try and pressure towards that C site, and it's a double back. Maybe just taking their time through here, see if they can catch one player overextending, but no one is. This is patient play from T1.
Definitely looking to slow things down now. Ardis reveal, but actually still punishes
Wow,
Munchkin on the swing off the turret there.
Over-delivering and trying to keep their attention towards B. He can cause them so many problems now, trying to, I guess, hit that rotation back from the C site. But again, we look at what could stop them this. Do they still think that Sire player would be here? It was a glance. It was just a quick look from Crashies, but he adjusts well enough to find Sire player. That gives them the sight. This is a really nice round from NRG, just drawing T1 so thin across the map.
Beautifully recovered to get into this position now. T1 lagging behind a little bit in terms of the rotation timing as well. Now allow NRG to set up very comfortably. And look at Ardis' disconnected position. These players on site just need to buy time for him.
Paranoia is going to help. That should have connected at least towards one, maybe two. Pop Flash goes in, and FNS can't see a thing. Now, Crash is still going to find value, though. Could be a third not to be. Here we go. Now we look towards Ardis. He was the final player, meant to be the final boss in this. Note, no one is on that spike. It was just a tap. The second time of asking, he's got a nice little line of sight on this. It was chip damage. Oh, the spacing on that was a little off there. Ardis gets away, and now time is against Carpe. He's got no time left on this one, and Ardis times it to perfection.
Opens up with the Red Bull clutch here in the pistol round. And Ardis definitely the power player in that setup, but NRG crumble on site and still able to close it out. That safe plant position. Beautifully done by NRG to recover that round into that position, but like I said, Carpe and Zeta did everything they needed to on site here.
So many swings and roundabouts in that round. That first pick played in perfectly. Victor going down.
And a little bit chaotic as well. With this plant, you must read that Ardis is disconnected, right? And the swing from Carpe is just so off kilter. I don't know if that's a miscommunication. Somebody's looking to tap and Carpe's not swinging, but it looked like that first half was going to be stuck at least.
We do have a stack coming out from T1, just leaving, I think it's Carpe, yeah, only Carpe towards that C site. He's going to be going through the process of doing what he can. He's got a classic, so T1 trying to just keep bodies on that A site. Could do well to facilitate that first pick in the first round, but going to be hard to do it now. Let's see how clean NRG can keep this, though. They do obviously have some much better weaponry. We just have that Marshall out for Sire player, so that's the one you want to be seeing potentially find connection. But for NRG, they're going to start feeling all of this pressure. So many bodies now kind of identified towards the A side that I wonder if they continue on this track.
Well, you obviously heard the Marshall ringing off here from Sire. No tags coming through just yet, looking for a blind spam, but Victor explodes onto Sire. We'll find two.
He's such a little animal like this. Does so well on the Neon. I know he had a little bit of a shaky performance last time, but it's beautiful to see him get that little confidence building early. Eco Cobra round short. You take him when you get him. Hello. Zeta's going to find one. Sire player did connect towards Ardis, so not as clean as you'd imagine, but there is a recovered weapon. It's not much. Can they make anything of it now? Carpe really wants to try and tee up Zeta to do something. That's going to do it. Now, Victor's gone down. This is a problem. Getting a little bit more dicey here. 2 more seconds on the flash. Cove's gone up. But Crashies is just body blocking that spike. He's going to keep himself on this. Just put his life literally on the line. Oh, toyed with. Gorgeous. Zeta now. Can he get past on the final? Rain Bossy's done it. Has he got the time on this one? I think he does. That's a tragedy for NRG and T1 turning those tables around.
Back-to-back rounds where this post-plant hold that should be fairly comfortable crumbles for NRG. This time around, T1 capitalize. Get the defuse on top of that. But a flip here in round 2. Massive boom to the T1 economy. And Zeta's upgrade from Finesse, dropping that Spectre at the top of the ropes, makes all the difference. You see the engagement with Stinger versus Spectre there from the ropes, and Zeta able to punish. Just going to throw a Guardian in here. Victor back on Stinger once again. Actually, Sheriff's in a frenzy here, so to find an opening pick, NRG could make something of this.
Victor's going to be overwhelmed with 3 players on this. T1 willing to brawl it out now. Crashy's going to go down first and foremostly. The rest of NRG hoping for a favorable outcome, but Artist already taken low, but does take one with him. Arpe still just standing. Joined by Sire player here. They're willing to shoulder this challenge. I mean, they've got the Vandals. If you start losing out, you do feel a little silly. Finesse actually making something of the Sire player now. Gotta deliver, and he does. Beautifully done. Got a little bit dangerous there. If he goes down, suddenly it's a little bit more vulnerable.
Absolutely. Bladestorm online, though. Nice and early for Sire, so a little offset to the economy if they do want to try and get an operator in his hands early on. He's going to try and spread the funds potentially. No, banned down at 150, so maybe going to use that for a full purchase in the next if NRG are able to strike back here. Lockdown available, Seekers available here for Crashies as well. That's our T1, reckoning Seekers and the Bladestorm. Curious really if this early trend will continue, because I was talking about T1 potentially being conditioned by that EDG matchup. In terms of being ready for aggression, being ready for very explosive early rounds. Finesse potentially going to be tested here. Artist alongside him.
Yeah, they got caught on the flash, so the D1 know that there's players here. Oh, Carpe just couldn't capitalize on the swing. Side player gets out of there, but NRG now given a chance in this.
And Carpe's the one to swing wider on that. I know Sire was expecting to maybe bait off the back of that, but Crashy's looking to follow through the Trailblazer here and potentially even throw the Seekers in here. Big damage, yeah, and with Carpe falling, Sire's going to have to play this out at 21 HP.
Do they continue on this track, though? NRG have options. They've still got 55 seconds to make best of a bad scenario. Going in towards Sire. Cove popped. But they pause for a second here. Sire player goes looking for information. He finds all too much.
Forced out by that utility perfectly. Som capitalizes. Lockdown invested as well. NRG want to get this round on the board.
How much can one man do? He's got to stand and fight, and he takes no one with him. Life up for grabs here, and NRG just storming the site. Gorgeous from Som, expecting the positioning from Munchkin. And Ban identified, he doesn't need to overdo it now. NRG have basically got this round on wraps.
Ban not even going to look for an exit. Do have the chance, obviously, with the Bladestorm being available, but down on 150 credits, maybe just wants to protect a full purchase here. Just slipping up. Yeah, he is jumping up towards the archway. Isolated. Ban will find one. A consolation at least. LG, on the other hand, with those credits remaining, probably not wanting to hunt this down too desperately.
And turn in the second round certainly going to haunt them if they did expend towards chasing the rifle. So, kind of taking pause for thought here. NRG course correcting quite quickly. Back on track here, tying this up at 2 apiece. Now, again, kind of rolling it back. Ban, I don't think in this one I'm going to kind of put him in the same light, but we saw in that previous matchup against EDG, for example, wanted to see him confident early, started to really come online towards the later stages of that previous game.
And I think this round is a perfect indicator for how T1 want to approach this, but NRG having a second stacked up on this extremity, the awareness needs to be there from T1 that that is a possibility after that EDG matchup, and then being, like I said, forced into a position where T1 had to be the aggressors in a lot of their defensive rounds, just to try and reduce numbers.
And still with so many ults to play with. Carpe's got his, Zeta and Sire player all ready to go. Obviously, Munchkin and Ban a little further away, but similar scenes at the start. We've seen this kind of almost consistently. Saya player willing to take an early fight here, look for an early challenge, but mostly just take space. Now, first time we're really seeing NRG, though, with bodies behind it, exploring this B option.
Zeta taking a ton of damage there. The other side, actually, Victor gets tagged up as well. An exchange, but doesn't amount to anything. Crashy's actually taking the orb outside B here. So Victor was one away, slowed down by the Nano Swarm now, but T1 have relinquished a little bit of control for the time being. But big information off the Trailblazer. Munchkin actually capitalizes.
I was a little nervous that Victor has the spike there. That could have been so much worse. Luckily for him, Crashies is able to grab it, didn't fall too far away. But now looking across the map, Finesse outdone Ban, so ready for it, working perfectly off the back of the utility. And NRG not finding the success they previously had, losing out on players on towards B, losing out on that presence on A. Do they get any success towards the site? No, Som's gone down one by one. This is just individual work unless Artist can over-deliver, and he absolutely can't. T1 holding the ground there.
Yeah, Artist actually got two in that situation. Not entirely sure how he found the second there, but T1 find their third. You noted, these ultimates aren't being relied upon here. So still some tools at T1's disposal. Finesse, unfortunately, just can't find it. Oh. I thought maybe that was over the top and Saya saw a pixel, but it was just a blind spam.
Broken buy coming out from NRG.
Forcing around Victor's ultimate potentially does have a stinger in hand as well, but Guardian in the hands of Crashies.
Quick work here though, but you can see Saya player exploring towards middle this time. On the other side is Ardis, and the adjustment not quick enough for that one. Ardis all too prepared. Having quite a nice game already, Ardis. Miscasting games that he's in. But NRG gonna fall away from this. They've had that early win in this round, right? So with 1 minute 15, they've got options to explore.
Carpe looking to swap out with Zeta, potentially to make use of the Seekers. NRG this time around, I haven't really seen them comfortably take an opening duel. Saya gives this one up on a platter, to be honest with you. You've got to be careful. Kobe actually bouncing. I'm not sure if that will leave a gap. No, we'll still cover the choke point.
Yeah, but Victor's just straight to work, straight to business. And he does find Zeta. Damage taken, yes, down to 15 HP, but he's still alive and still a threat. Carpe going to try and catch him across the wall, but it's Munchkin. Finds Victor, and they take back the site control. They're not giving it up just yet, though, as Som takes that critical kill towards the site. That could facilitate the plant now.
30 seconds left.
Ban and Munchkin, a 2v4. NRG still haven't fully got side control to obtain this plant. Maybe waiting for some smoke to come through at the perfect time. Munchkin even eats a little bit of spam on the way out, down to 7 HP, makes this almost undoable. See already on the mini-map, we'll retreat away. And I want to see T1 lean away from some of these solo swings in the early rounds. I mean, Saya and Carpe previously looking to take deep control outside Mound, maybe pick off Finesse or Ardis, whoever they're expecting to find outside C lobby. This is another example where Saya's given one up and there's no possibility of a trade. No, absolutely not, and they don't gain anything in terms of information because then NRG can just slow things down. Then a slight overcommitment from Zeta as well. I mean, he's got the Reckoning, he can potentially slow down a hit, but it just comes so late on. There's no pressure on NRG. I think even actually the AoE was just outside main anyway. Maybe Victor, regardless, he can zip straight past that. But potentially here, if we see Saya pick up the operator, maybe that's an indicator to slow things down and maybe look to... it's just comfortable for Ardis there.
Yeah, these do feel a little bit individual, even just the fights alone. Yeah, obviously kind of signified very clearly at the start by Saya player, but let's see if he can maybe get his head back in the game here. You can't be giving NRG those opportunities. They'd absolutely love to be giving them. Still a close game though, 3 apiece. Not seeing either team fully break away just yet. NRG back to this early lean towards A.
I mean, in terms of the numbers, though, this is the half that you want to see T1 post up an advantage. 64% win rate on defense overall regionally. It's definitely where we want to see them set up for success in the second. Victor looking to actually find some space here, and he's got very deep. He's going to find Ban, potentially no! Ban finds the the headshot.
I'm amazed the Ban got away with that one, but the barrel even showing. Finesse giving it up. Crash is taking the damage, but going to deliver the kill. But the site, yes, it's theirs, but they've suffered so much on the way in. Victor and FNS going down makes this tricky, and now the flank has got a lot of bodies towards it. Artist got 3 potential targets to handle. Spots one, takes one, but that's all he's going to get. TP toyed with. So I'm going to stand his ground. He's got Crashes by his side, but they've been struggling in these post plants.
And it's been on this site they've struggled, Lauren.
Gap's getting closer here. Crashes has no idea. Well, unfortunate for him as Som now left in a 1v3. Big round, not gonna happen. Carpe's got him, Som's gone down. And once again, those retakes elude them. They evade them here. Not getting what they want at all.
It's a similar setup as the pistol as well. Artist disconnected initially, there to greet the pressure outside mound. Just holding onto that C lobby position, but
this was huge.
Yeah, Ban does go huge for T1 here. To find the second as well. I think even a lot of chip damage done onto Crashes with that Nano Swarm at his feet. NRG will pump the brakes a little bit here.
So looking at what we've seen so far, it feels like a little bit hard to kind of characterize because we have seen these back and forth rounds, but the issues in those post plants, a couple of other things, are those what they need to address here? Where do you look?
I think the onus of pressure really lies with T1 here. I want to see them disconnect from some of these early set pieces to take away control, and if it doesn't result in a kill and it doesn't result in anything tangible to really pressure NRG's backline, I want to see them disconnect and just come back towards a retake setup potentially, or address another part of the map, because so far, it's very value dependent, but this mound control isn't really amounting to too much.
You're absolutely right.
And NRG are greeting it perfectly.
They're holding on too well. So this is an NRG timeout if you are just tuning in. Just, again, back and forth game here. Now for NRG, I'm looking at the money. That could be a little bit split too.
I mean, if this is an attempt from T1 to almost condition NRG into focusing more towards aim, relying on Ban as that heavy anchor towards tree, and obviously having the complement of Munchkin's utility there, then sure, but I do want to see them start disconnecting a little bit.
Yeah, because you set that conditioning in hope that you get that additional benefit down the line. So maybe that's what we start seeing them lean towards going forward. But I also got to say here, Ban being a nice safe pair of hands on towards A. We kind of credit the anchors as to how well they handle this. Let's see what we see this round, though, because does that conditioning continue? For now, though, NRG actually testing it over towards C.
Yeah, first time actually we haven't seen T1 with a couple of bodies stacked up here, but Sire's on that solo exploration outside of B. Other side of the door right now. Potential to be played in with maybe a wall up from Zeta and a flash from Carpe. I'll try and catch them in the choke point here.
There's the flash. Wait and see if side player does much with this. It's actually Carpe to find Som. Where did he just get him?
Just on the backside of the mound.
Wow, okay. Yeah, Carpe. Beautiful start to this, and that's frustrating. Som going down does remove some of those later round options. Hey. Sire player 1-for-1 trade, though.
Yeah, I mean, you take that in this situation after Som's already fallen. Now you want to see T1, like I said, disengage from this. Use the numbers advantage here and minimize the risk on the way in.
Well, the options for NRG are looking dreary, aren't they? Yeah.
Slim.
What are you meant to do with this? How are you meant to take towards your site? I guess you could take a gamble, hope that maybe Ban's in an uncomfortable position over towards A. Where is Ban? He's just jump spotting. Okay, so he should be able to get the information early. There it is. Whoa, okay.
They didn't spot initially.
Hold on. Well, Ban's made a meal of it.
Fumble.
That's tragic.
He spotted on the first jump spot there, but didn't react at all. And Crashes was actually ahead of that first jump spot.
Though this has given them such an opportunity. It shouldn't have happened. Lockdown on either side as well. 3v3 now in the post plant. Can NRG make up for those lost rounds they've been struggling with here? They don't have to go too far away from this. They do have to kind of go back towards tree, slip back a little deeper. Artist still has a little bit of kit to play with too, but going to be taken back towards the site. FNS should be able to catch that cross, apply some pressure once they start trying to get towards the site, but he looks like the first port of call here. They've already made it through. Now there's problems. He tries to overextend. He gets taken down. Artist holds the line, though. Site's still NRG's as T1 struggling to take those next steps.
And
comfortably closing out an A site.
Nice
post-bar hold here, and the lockdown exchange really doesn't favor T1 at all. A little bit baffled by the investment there, especially at the timing. If you just wait for that to close out from Artists, I feel like they can invest this much smarter. I think it's Finesse falls here, but he gets off a crucial snake bite to stop Carpe and Zeta from actually flooding back in onto site. So even though he goes down there, able to still assist a little bit. I think actually the vulnerable taking effect on Munchkin on that initial swing into mid-sight.
I'm just still worried about Ban after that round. He's going to have to get his head back in this game. Silent player, though, had this ult for a moment or two. His challenger is just tucked in the corner. Oh. Not good enough that time. Oh, this patience pays.
That shouldn't be a surprise, though. And again, it's another one where burn a flash from Carpe. If you're going to make a play like that, just have a flash to confirm presence there.
And they've been doing well at that before. That's the crazy part of this. Okay, Victor caught in no man's land. Nice soul spray again. This is going to be bits and pieces. Yeah, this heads up work from him. Lovely little round. NRG starting to string together some rounds here. And again, I need to see recovery from T1. What they look like here. Operators out. You kind of considered that earlier on in this game. This is the round they're going to invest in.
Is this going to be a little more of a passive hold here from Saya? Have the Seekers, have the pit for Ban, so you can maybe reinforce that anchor towards A site. We'll still see Munchkin provide a little bit of support in terms of utility. Artist disconnected once again. Doesn't have finesse now in this position. We saw them stacked up previously together in the early rounds. NRG looking to step the pace up a little bit in terms of early round pressure.
Yeah, trying to work in the dark a little bit here. None of the presence can be fully confirmed that there's bodies behind it, but there's a lot of utility shown, a lot of audio cues. But Artist goes walkabouts. This time Munchkin's got him dead.
Can't use that yet.
Not going to get as much freedom as they had before. They get to slip away with the man advantage early, leaving Sire player posted up with that operator.
Yeah, just spotted with the Trailblazer. Won't necessarily have confirmation there's an operator in hand just yet, but in terms of the mid-round, this looks much better for T1. Now they have some sort of, I guess, safety net with the Viper's pit going up and an operator on the other side of the map. NRG look as if they were, I guess, posturing towards a B split here. The Crashies with the spike drifting towards the backside of the pit here. The alarm bot's got, so again, Munchkin is wary of any sort of lurking towards spawn, but a little bit of a gap here for NRG to potentially make something happen.
Do they let Som slip deeper? That's what I'm hoping they do, and they have. They've got him just posted up towards CT, not going too far away, but they've done this quietly, right? They're working in the shadows towards it.
Will be forced into a, I guess, an unorthodox plant, but the pit is so deep towards spawn.
And that just cuts off so much of the avenue of approach until then. Victor's fallen and giving Munchkin the way forward. They've now got an opportunity. Now it's actually NRG looking a little surrounded here. A couple of brave explorers towards that pit might be happening as well. Let's see if they hold on towards that for finesse. As Crash is looking to maybe remove Ban from this, find themselves a little bit of a corner of comfort.
Crash has got a shorty.
Oh Lord, the drop! Hello, Crash is going to take down Ban, but it's Munchkin having a round here. 3 already. Crash is burning both flashes, but Munchkin is not relenting. This guy just aced NRG,
Munchkin
and it's no easy feat.
And a totally new look to the A side post-plant with this pit up towards spawn, and T1 once again come out on top of it. What a strange round. And what's even stranger is that a member of T1 comes out with an ace here. I mean, Crashy sends both flashes in here and Munchkin stands his ground. And this goes completely differently. If there's still a poison orb and a couple of snake bites for finesse to work with, NRG can potentially commit to a much looser, more passive hold here. You can see Crashy's desperate to try and negate that pit towards Tree. And Munchkin's found one for free.
Yeah, saw nothing. I'm pretty sure there. Victor going down instantaneously, just caught on the cross. That's going to be frustrating. I'm going to note that there's been some deeper progress made from NRG, but they've been sent on their way. They can't make it towards the site just yet. T1, this is much nicer. I mean, yes, off the back of Munchkin, but still. And look at this space for Sire player. He doesn't have to go too far here.
Yeah.
He can just sit on this. The map is theirs, basically. 3 players ready to greet them on A. You've still got that presence of utility towards B. And obviously Munchkin there, Sire player. That's a shot you want to be hitting, but they now know that the map is indeed very small.
I mean, that's the green light to hit towards A. There's so many questions elsewhere. Som will open things up, Ban will fall. The Seeker's invested here. Lockdown to potentially counter, but the plant will come through. An opportunity to reset here for NRG.
goes up, trade comes in. They're going to get back towards the site now. That flank is still something that's going to be weighing heavily in NRG's mind. You can see already the T1 trying to toy with the timing. It crashed. She's not going to fall for the flash. Does well against Carpe. There's the flank though. Sire player can answer back in. With the tap on the spike, they have to respond. They have to check. And Zeta was auto ready. And now it's on Sire player to try and do that damage. And what? Oh! Zeta! How'd he get that one back? Oh, this looked good for it.
I was in the same position as the pistol.
Yeah.
This time around, Zeta lands the shot. Operator retrieved. And T1 will come into the final round, 1 up. NRG, 2 Guardians and a Bulldog on the board earlier. We'll see how the purchase actually ends up. Beautiful adjustment here.
This is huge from T1. So impressed with their work. And NRG back to what they hope is working. Victor being found so early on certainly doesn't help matters, but once again, Sire player. Yes, this time there's a little bit of utility there. Yes, this time maybe Artist comes back around. But again, it's so indicative of space given.
But even so, Sire's continuing to pressure the backline. And this time, NRG, I don't know if they feel as if they've done enough work to force him out of that mindset, but we see otherwise.
Does he get checked? He does. Okay. Tries to swing ahead of it, tries to make something of it, but Ardis just claims him through the wall. That's Carpe gone and Munchkin. That's a B-side looking so vulnerable. Yeah, Sire player took some space, but who cares at this point? That should be a plant if they need it.
Still got that alarm box to deal with. I don't think Ardis is going to get out of range of it. So Sire's got to reconsider maybe approaching the door here. Reckoning invested. Again, there's no body to swing off this though.
Store, anyone?
Thank God there's an extra wall there.
Yep, that would have been you dead otherwise. Now just down to Sire player. A 1v3 required. Only a Bulldog picked up, isolates the first, Crashes goes down. 2 more. That's a hard angle to clear though. NRG making no mistakes at the end there. Taking this back to 6 apiece. This is a very hard 4-4 game so far.
Absolutely, yeah. Artist having a fantastic performance. 17-8 on the half. And with T1's approach here, he is the pivotal player for NRG. Controlling that flank, reinforcing that backline, and allowing actually NRG to explore the map with relative freedom.
This is NRG and T1 tied up at 6 apiece. Desk, what do you make of the first half?
Personally, big fan. I like what I'm seeing from both teams here. I think we're getting the matchup that I was hoping that we would get. A T1 that's coming into this one really competitive and showing NRG that they're simply not meant to be trifled with.
Yeah, I really thought that T1's aggression they showed versus EVG would get consistently punished by NRG. But instead, this high-risk, high-reward style has been working for them thus far. Normally, the strengths of this comp are in kind of playing back, maybe pushing one side with a Cascade Flash to get early space, and then playing retake with your Harbor. But T1 has been taking a lot of aggressive fights, and we're actually committing to hard anchoring in a lot of these rounds. And NRG was exploiting that. But the thing is, as we got later into this half, while T1 were still taking those risks that might not be quite as optimal with their composition, they were finding those early advantages and converting so many of these late rounds.
Exactly. We were talking about the Harbor, how predictable the utility was becoming when they're being aggressive. At the later half, we see a Saya player that is just pushing with that operator. I think that also
and I don't know,
utility dump that they were doing so many times where Zeta will get to
T1 against NRG in Lotus.
A little bit, you know, trying to playing into NRG's game, just dumping all of that for them.
It was tough, but now in the second half, the question is, has NRG improved their defense? Against Na'Vi, this was the big issue. 44% win rate generally on this map, and what they were struggling with was how they wanted to play this Neon. They were playing more similar to Foot than Cloud9 with the Neon, where they were going for a lot of aggressive extremity control. They were having Victor off. It wasn't really working. I'm looking for them to have actually less aggression against this Harbor comp, and instead to look to play more rounds in that retake and to flood with the Neon stunts to stall.
Yeah, it is going to be quite fascinating to see how this one actually plays out here. Granted, we saw what happened with NRG yesterday. Will history repeat itself? Let's go ahead and jump right back into the action as we get into that second half. Pansy, Hypoc, over to you.
Yeah, the second half leaves us with quite a few questions, Mike. Yes, it was uncomfortable for NRG. Yes, this is a closer game. Can T1 push them to that same position? Do you think this has got enough that we've seen from that first half? What do you expect now? Seeing that neon again, obviously it's the easiest question to start with.
Yeah, definitely. And this is where I lean back towards the point I made before this map started, is how T1 are going to approach this in terms of the pacing. I do want to see them build around Sire here on the attacking half, but might even be an early exchange here. Some will fall immediately. Sire doubles down.
Huge work!
Oh, Sire player!
So clean! Sire player really making sure he's dead there. FNS is down.
Is it ace? Wait.
Look, they
do we have our answer already?
I think we do. They were trying to fight fire with fire, and T1 win that cleanly. NRG feeling embarrassed after that. Ooh. All 5 standing. That's a message, Mike.
I think
Prime Gaming Flawless to open up the pistol round.
To use 5-man push for
one of the quickest we'll probably see.
Yeah, what a start. Let's have a look at this again. Yeah, 135 basically, first blood, fully confirmed, drawn. Sire player, man, so clean with it.
Beautifully done. If this is a statement send, if T1 now build upon this and set the tone here for their attacking half. Actually, Sire 2 away from the Blade Storm already. Had a very early Blade Storm in the first half after that round 2 flip.
True. Okay, so it's going to be FNS feeling that pressure over towards the C site. Couple of shots coming his way.
And a heavy lean towards A for NRG.
Yeah, I mean, 3 players, yes, dedicated, 4 almost if you want to throw maybe some into that mix too, but now what can FNS do with this? He's got support on the way, but there's a gap and it's closing. Yep.
He's caught by it.
Bye-bye. You can already see the Hunters coming on downside. Player though, the counter flash wasn't bad. That could have been maybe a little more to it. Maybe they can get something a little bit wild going on. Victor starting to become a threat, being a problem. Down to now 3. They've lost out on the rifles. Yes, recoverable though, and they have side control. Spike back to hand. They should be able to secure it. Can NRG cause any more mayhem?
HP already take about Saya
to get the plant down though. NRG are going to be in a position to set up here. Paranoia and a flash to come through immediately.
Push.
Away from the site though, that allows a little bit of room for T1 to re-engage.
Oh my god!
Here by T1.
Nice one.
About
a ton of damage done though.
Yes. If we look at kind of, I guess, the minutiae of it, NRG will be happy with that round. They made something out of very little, but the stability from T1 to cancel on that Paranoia was fantastic.
I think Ban and Munchkin actually came out with 2K on that, so not the worst, but the timing on the swings here, NRG just so slippery to pin down. Enables Victor to find 2 with the classic. Make this interesting, yes, but T1, like you said, perfect time to cancel the plant and commit to that engagement. NRG make absolutely the right decision there. You can see the utility was on point to try and flood back onto site.
And this is when that benefit of having Sire player having those big impactful rounds early on, those first 2, he's been able to farm up towards Blaze. Munchkin finding FNS. Again, that was on that solo fight towards C. Why is Victor in the middle of no man's land? What's going on, Mike?
I mean, just absolutely collapses outside rubble here. It's a wide open A site for T1 to capitalize. Som making his way back over towards stairs, but another one that's just, it's over in the first 15 seconds.
Was it the timing that Finesse fell that suddenly Victor and Crashes were vulnerable? I want to see the timing of how those kills came in. But at this point, this round's wrapped anyway. Som and Ardis are saving. There's no questioning that here. And considering the buy, can they bolster this much? I'm trying to see if they can get any more. I think they'll be happy with what they got the upgrades on anyway. They've been able to kind of fill out the buy.
Well, this is a little unorthodox. If Ardis is going to commit his utility over towards C or towards B, and Finesse not be that typical Viper anchor towards Tree, then they either need to commit to this fight or be in a position to, I guess, play damage control, right? Mitigate as much progress from T1 as possible, and they're on the hunt right now. They're looking to punish, they're looking to try and potentially remove these weapons, but still a big gap. I think there's, I mean, Som's the only one that looks like he might be caught, but Munchkin hesitant. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a very early timeout here from NRG.
Okay.
To maybe reconsider this setup.
Yeah, I want to see the timing on this again. Yeah, finding Finesse, that's not ideal. Finesse gets found, he's going to drop, and then, yeah, you just, Victor trying to make miracles happen at that point. It's just, I'm a little surprised that Finesse was caught on that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, like I said, if you're going to switch up like this, then your anchor can't die like that. It has to be post-contact. You know, yes, you can take a little risk and maybe spot for information, but T1 looking to continue with this pace.
NRG have taken at least a little bit of map control elsewhere. Gonna be able to post up. I imagine it's Artis. Yeah, Artis tucked up a little bit deeper towards C, kind of off the back of Finesse. So that's gonna be those two dealing with that. But they've pulled the plug on Victor as well, bringing him back towards B, sitting super deep on this A side. Crash is just jump spotting this, if anything.
So is this NRG leaning towards a retake setup on A consistently here? Crashy's, with the drop down, semi-committed towards this site hold.
What does he have? Okay. It's not much. It's been seen. Flash going to be sent. Nah, no opportunities off the back of that either.
Artis has slipped through. I don't think Munchkin's in range of that turret. Could be. Yeah, he is. Actually does spot out Artis.
They're trying to fold. They're trying to fold through towards B, but Som, he's there. He's even ahead of the Flash. Great work from Som. 3 massive kills. And now, 3v2. FNS Victor and Crash is still not ideally equipped, but still, at least with their lives, 28 seconds, and T1 are struggling. The spike is down in such a precarious position. You're going to have to see Carpe go huge here. Still has a flash, gets the spike, waits to see anyone swing, no one does. Victor takes the next step, but takes his life with a classic.
Victor is just nuts with that gun. Finding another kill here. Finesse going to wait things out. 10 seconds left. Munchkin, an awful lot left to do here.
Nope.
It's not pretty.
No, it's not going in the highlight reel.
T1 desperate to play this out and almost react based on something at NRG show. As soon as Artis is spotted on the flank, they look for this split through link. They look to pop the door, but Som digs his heels in. Massive bailout round from him. This is on the back of what? The saved rifle and a stinger, I think?
I think it was one of the only rifles they had. Almost made it a 4th there.
One enemy remaining.
It's quite good with that gun, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's all right with it.
97 though, NRG get themselves back on the board in this half. First one they've been able to post here.
Victor going exploring with the operator. I don't think confirmed on the other side of this, but Munchkin has to be on red alert now.
While this is happening, you can see T1 taking a lot of space towards B. There is a massive amount of utility set up there, though. Artis littering it on the floor. Side player's gone down as well, so that's a little bit of the utility removed, but Victor has to get away from this. Oh, gorgeous. Just dips away from there. Find a new angle to play from as T1 look to try and explore that option on the C site. 4 of them now standing, and the lockdown invested. This will force the hand of NRG.
Victor desperate to try and still make something happen with this operator, but T1 wait out the timing on the lockdown perfectly. It might just catch one. Yeah, Finesse will have to wait this out.
But NRG surely can't make it back to B.
Som's got an Odin as well, so...
Can get back there. Okay. So now this is when there could be a little bit of danger on this one. The Seekers, it's all headed one way. Straight towards them. On towards CT. Plan going to come in. Does he get denied? No. Okay. Plants in. Time on the side of T1.
To get that down there, Bam will find one onto Artis as well. So it brings it to a 4v4.
I do like the way they kind of fought for that
Some
connected side of things rather than trying to face
Odin.
CT, but where are the options now for NRG? Brought back to 4-4, it's tricky to make this work. Operator in play, Odin in play. It's not going to be as easy to try and find those next steps, but
with operator.
Victor desperately looking for that pick, has to switch up to the rifle. Flash goes in, notes the player on the right. Carpe should be seen here, and he's dealt with. Victor, lovely. Next couple of steps, they've got to get a move on here. They've got the time against them, and Victor is running it back perfectly. Anyone else to find it? Munchkin waiting, defuse started.
Oh, nice one.
Again. Gorgeous from Victor. Defuse is there. NRG running it back with just a second to spare.
Good cover from
insane
Victor.
retake by NRG. It feels like the time has almost passed here. That window of opportunity had closed, but Victor able to pick up the pace a little bit. You see Zeta just half a second off saving Carpe with the wall going up. The finest of margins in this round. NRG will double down now, 2 rounds to the name in the second half. Haven't broken the economy just yet of T1. But we'll force the timeout.
Yeah, and I want to see what they do in these early rounds now. Starting to see a little bit more life in NRG, kind of forcing unfavorable situations to T1, losing outside player on that B take, for example, then having to pivot towards C. And again, we saw what happened there. That retake was down to literally like a second or two spare, but I mean, they pull it off, so you have to kind of give credit where it's due. Now about to tie things up, though, for T1, is there an easy adjustment you see in this, or is it beyond some simple adjustment?
I think if they can identify that actually there's Artist and Finesse majority of the time committing towards holding C, then they actually commit to this rubble engagement. Again, he's kind of the one that's in the safest position, I'll say, inside Link. But again, for me, the weak links in terms of on paper, when you look at how NRG are playing here, it has to be Victor and Crashies. Now, that's a different discussion altogether. Calling Victor and Crashies the weaker side of the defense, of a defensive setup from NRG. But I don't think T1 have clocked onto that just yet.
Maybe with that timeout, they've been able to kind of find it, talk through it, see if that becomes something now. This time around, a little bit of an adjusted setup as well towards C. Artist spreading the wealth of the utility as Munchkin trying to find that fair fight on FNS. Already a little bit of damage done towards him, so clearly they spotted each other out in the early round.
Let's say, was that a spam from the jump spot potentially?
That's where that benefit of that Killjoy utility will be found. Artist this time with the operator towards B. That's a little interesting. Trying to imply pressure on the A site though. And T1 starting to drift away from this. That's a little bit of a different look now for T1 to try and navigate through. There's that contact also hitting on the C side.
Well, that's some utility, but it comes on very late in this round. And the problem being, these indicators are going to force them towards Artist's operator. Trailblazer will force him back a little deeper. But lots of question marks across the map here for T1.
Yeah, T1 taking the tour, right? They start out towards A, kind of split towards C a little bit now, leaning heavier this way. Can they get that lurk to be activated? Can Ban find value? Som's been outstanding at this role, and he's done it again. This guy just holding it down. Now there's really, well, shouldn't be as much doubt as there is. Artist, this is everything, and the shot's missed. Unfortunate, yes, but it's the way it goes. And now T1 have full site control. Trying to get a little bit deeper. Munchkin, it's deleted by Som. Who's trying to really hit here. Bringing it to a 4v3, favorable towards NRG, but the time now is on their side. They have the plant down.
Crashies and Victor have to play damage control here. Prevent any further progress from T1 into Spawn. Messiah forced back by the Paranoia. Carpe will bail him out though.
Oh, shots from Carpe. 1v2, Som's been good. Oh, you can see the Paranoia caused by that TP. Zeta still though, focused on the wall. Som looking for an opportunity, a chance. Anyone out of place, the wall's gonna drop. He sees no one. Disappeared. Spotted now. Zeta's got him. Carpe delivering well there in that post plant.
I thought the Paranoia would force them all the way back onto site, but it's actually a re-swing here from Carpe to bail Saya out, and then they double down. Massive value found. Slight adjustment on the plant as well enabled them to be more aggressive towards Spawn. It's unfortunate. I think Artist is even looking there to pop the Nano Swarm potentially.
Like it's a little unfortunate.
Yeah, a rough timing moment for him.
Yep. But a different look from T1 though, kind of taking the tour of the entire map. Yes, kind of leaving a player posted on every extremity, trying to get that lurk going, but...
And it's interesting as well, because obviously without this Killjoy utility, it commits Crashies and Victor towards staying here very late. They have to prevent a lurk.
Are they getting proactive? A little bit here. Yeah, Flash goes in and say hello. The Flash found nothing. Ban a little ahead of it. Gonna note the Crashies is nearby. Gotta be careful. There are still pistols out. Guardian as well for Som. But Ban's done very well here, mitigating all of that threat that could have come through towards A. And NRG not finding the start they'd want here, maybe cause a little bit of problems on those early fights, but this buy not going to find any value so far.
Team Finesse does concede that space on mound outside C, but T1 will pause, waiting for maybe an information peak. They're stacked up now and they've cut noise.
I like this though.
Confirm. Does Artist get a chance?
Chance is a strong word. It was a glimpse for a second. And this is nice from T1. Very clean work. They were up against kind of a, not really a force buy, just a very light investment. It was just bits and pieces. So not too much to write home about, at least in that round, but we have to talk bigger picture here, because that's T1 making it up to 11. That's big, and that's why NRG just hit the brakes, right? This is now it's crunch time. You've got plenty of ult zone, Mike. They got almost everything ready, barring the lockdown, which is only one away.
I mean, the stars aligned for them. They have so much to invest here behind this. This feels like a must-win. What? I mean, call it 1,500 credits across the board for NRG behind this purchase. And with a Prime Gaming flawless, actually puts T1 in a position where they can play out a few more risky engagements here. The benefit of the scoreline as well. T1 in the driving seat here. They have a Viper's Pit of their own, the Reckoning as well.
Yeah, still
hands of Zeta, so
something to play with. Well, one away from a Blade Storm as well, I think, for side player.
Yep.
Okay. This is when the game gets fun, right? Because the fact that we came onto this map in T1 clearly identifying a vulnerability with NRG, right? Maybe from that Na'Vi game, maybe even beyond that, but regardless, identifying something. This half was always the worry as well. If you're an NRG fan, you're looking at being a bit worried.
Just to talk about the setup once again, defensively, you don't want to see Finesse or Ardis really overcommit to these duels or really denying any space from T1, because like I said, Crashies and Victor have to stay in position with no Killjoy utility there to prevent a lurk from rubble through towards stairs or onto A site. They're already leaning heavily towards a retake on B and C. I mean, B's the only one that potentially they can stop a push or be there to greet the push and actually fight for it, because there's two weak extremities.
Deep breaths now. One of the odds invested so far. That's towards B, so Viper Pit going to be committed. We see a 3-play walk over towards Mound as well. Crashies, Victor, Som, all there. And it's Sire player, top of the box. Dog going to come in. Paranoia Ascent doesn't get affected by this just yet either. And it's all posturing. No commitment behind this.
Oh, I didn't want Sire to see anything there. Defensive flash to prevent a push, but look at where Victor's already disconnected to. Come back now. Som will be healed up, but no first blood conceded.
This is
T1, I guess T1 definitely looking to try and get a grasp here with the Viper's Pit towards B. It indicates a switch up. So where's that pressure point? Now we have that Killjoy utility littered across A site, and Ardis will potentially try and slow things down, maybe even get a kill and get the lockdown online. T1 still noted here.
They're going to commit on this? I want to see if they fully go for this. They've drawn out a lot of utility, 35 seconds, they can't pivot too far away. Flash goes in, Som goes up, 21 HP though, he ain't got much to play with. The adjustments there, Sire players in, Crashies holding it back with Victor. They've denied the cross and the spike's gone loose. With 24 seconds, we need miracles from Sire player, and it ain't happening. NRG with the bodies in the right place now, Munchkin knife out, he has no idea. They've already taken so much space, and Crashies wants him dead, so does Victor. Crashies the one to get him, but talk to me about that round, Mike, because that felt like T1 walked into what NRG wanted.
Yeah, I was going to say that there's no confirmation from T1 of numbers on the other side here. Big question marks, and it almost feels like, yeah, let's start out the Reckoning and wait half a second to maybe look for a ping, but NRG are able to just position here. Again, Som takes so much damage, but as soon as he falls, there's no second layer to this from T1. Nobody sweeps around towards Waterfall. It's all one-dimensional towards Som.
It looks like they're trying to run it again. Yeah, so FNS posted towards B, Ardis over towards A this time. You know, obviously that Killjoy utility is there, but it's a switch around, right? So you've got the 4-play stack over towards the A side for T1 here, and now you can already see the hunt coming out from Victor, though. He wants to close that gap. He's found a target. He's got a victim. That's Munchkin gone, and now the backline is not secure, but you've got to go towards Ardis. In between literally a rock and a hard place. How do you get past this? Simply stall. That's what Ardis wants to do. Oh! And he does more than that! Oh, come on! This guy, always so good, but can Carpe do something unthinkable? Finding 2 already, but he's got to find 3 more. Flash not going to find anything. Does he spot a pixel out of place? No, FNS keeps himself way deeper. Flash, again, confirms no presence. Maybe feeling he's got a little bit of space for a plant, but they're so close by, Mike. This is going to be brutal for Carpe.
Yeah, to get it down, but not much time to set up here. And
no Flash. Nowhere to play, vulnerable, closed on, gorgeous, NRG. That's a lovely little round there.
Ardis goes huge to anchor here. Slows things down with a Nano Swarm, then isolates every single member of T1 that swings onto him. Goes absolutely huge here. Again, this adjustment of putting Ardis towards A site now, feeling as if NRG have a little more freedom to take the initiative, be decisive here on the defensive side. And actually now the cracks started to show in that T1 economy that looks so healthy. When the scoreline was 11-8. NRG, like I said, that was a must-win round, and look what position it's put them in now. A chance to tie things up.
I love the switch up again, though. Look at the variety we're seeing coming out from NRG. We're going to have this time around Ardis towards that C site, littering the utility over towards there. A little deeper, though. Not going to be putting it towards that early contact. We've got the 3-play stack almost kind of working through B early on, leaving Som the solo towards A. But how far can they get towards this? You can already see T1 trying to consider their options, trying to go through the protocol list. Going to spot a little bit of attention there. And T1 have to go through such a long list to try and figure out where players are.
This thing, if you think about early on in this round as well, T1 didn't have many fact-finding rounds. So almost having to re-explore the map. NRG have made beautiful adaptations here.
Right call so far towards heading on A.
Look at the difference in terms of how deep this utility is invested from T1. And they gain nothing off this.
I think Munchkin might have heard the rotation from FNS at the very least, but there's still 2 players here, and there's still all that Killjoy utility. The adjustment's just right. Again, this is all an information game. Yes, I think he did. FNS comes back around, that's 3 players there. Is that enough of an indicator to keep them committed towards this? It's Som this time. Ardis over-delivered, bailed him out last round. This time, Som's got to go huge. Paranoia sent in, should catch Sire player, but does he get out with his life? Yes. Keeps himself standing, that's all you got to say. That's all he's got to do so far.
Really well navigated by Som, actually, to not concede that first blood. NRG will be in a 5v5 retake situation. Ardis does have the lockdown as well. So they're invested here, but the pick goes down and it does spread across the spike.
This becomes very usable now. FNS going to find Carpe, though. Apply that pressure through a link. Sire player trying to look towards it. Tricky to see with the lockdown in play, but still has to respect it, has to fall away. Site now going to be tested. Munchkin tries to get aggressive, and FNS not having any of what he's trying to sell. A tap of the spike will draw the player, but only to their death. Crash is going to find him, and now leaving it all down to 1, and not for long. Som takes back his site as NRG get the defuse.
Finesse stands his ground here in link, goes huge to deny that second wave of aggression from T1. And he's commanding so much respect. He's keeping 3 members of T1 fixated on this door. Unfortunately, then the pit amounts to nothing on site. NRG able to just stack numbers up here and play trades inside it. Didn't even need to play trades. Only Ardis that falls here.
Pressure time now, 11-11. All tied up, map 1. T1 hitting the panic button a little now. This is, again, when we kind of talk about these teams, when we go bigger picture, depth, capability, you always give a little nod to that man there as well. Always able to give them something, you know, else to work with, a little bit of adaptation, you know, all of that experience coming through. They have that backlog of capability. T1, that's a little bit of a different kettle of fish. They're coming into this with the best they can, and they've done incredibly well to 11-11. Do they have adjustments now?
Look at the contrast in the first 6 or 7 rounds now to NRG really, I guess, spinning the wheel in terms of some of these defensive setups. And T1, like I said, there's so many question marks. As soon as they see an indicator, previously the pit outside B, they then have to explore who's where on the side of NRG. Everything they learned in the first few rounds, out the window now.
Yeah, it's the beauty of NRG that they can do that. It's a very impressive skill to have alone and be so good at it. Yes, you could, I guess, technically adjust things, but being able to be so diligent still it deserves praise. Now, what does T1 come up with, though? What is the plan here? They have the lockdown still to play with. Zeta 3 away from his ult, but that's about it, really. You have the Seekers for Crashies too. This is crunch time, isn't it? This is when this has to be a big round from T1. I'm not sure what they're going to go for here.
Munchkin's been finding value in this lurk. Trying to slip his way onto Finesse's site previously, but switch up here. Let's have Ban in support, and NRG actually resorting back to basics. That original setup we saw with Crashies and Victor over towards A. Some in a position to crunch through on rubble as well if they feel the heat a little bit.
I'm just trying to hedge their bets a little bit. Unsure if T1 were going to do something a little different, but it's just a pace change so far, at least this very slow approach. Maybe looking for a B crunch. Maybe just looking for early success somewhere. So far, no one being given that chance. Slipping a little deeper though, Munchkin does get pretty far up on this.
Resmoke comes through. I'm not sure if Munchkin's looking to actually find a lurk. All the way up in towards spawn. Trailblazer burn early.
That's first contact in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Does Som break the door to try and deal with the lockdown? Gonna send the paranoia, here's his chance. Door goes, as does the lockdown, Som gets away. Now, do they springboard towards B? Yes, that's the next goal for T1 here. Artist trying to hold them back as well. You've got Som pretty close by, but T1 are in on the site. We're down to 14 seconds. If anything denies this plant, we get put into problems. For now, though, T1, 5v5, post-plant on B. This is going to be chaotic, to say the least. Already, Munchkin going to find Victor. He's been holding them back towards that A site. And even the Reckoning to throw in on top.
Som's here with a shorty. He's waiting for somebody to come through. Ban on the other side with one in his hand. Som able to wait this out.
Yeah, but where do they find that next bit of success from? Just holding these choke points with the shorty. So difficult to find a way in on. Munchkin all too aware that Som could be lurking from that A. They noted that flash coming out there earlier. They're running low on it. Carpe's going to find Finesse. Yes, Crashes finds one, but he needs to find a whole lot more, and he ain't got many seconds to do it in. He's gone down the T1. Looking to fold. Looking to find that purchase towards B, and they do exactly that. NRG had no answers there.
Slow burn pays off for T1. I'm looking at this. There's no pinch onto Som. Som's able to throw a paranoia, remove this lockdown for free. Yes, Artist had a little bit of utility here scattered across B site, but there was numbers for T1. And when you've drawn the attention of Som...
That should be good, right?
Yeah.
You've done the big challenge there.
Artist has to go huge there. And even... It's just a little bit late with the Cove. You think NRG are going to be able to recover there, but so much time passes before NRG make a move. Yes, they have to wait out the Reckoning, but there's no catalyst there. There's nothing for NRG to latch onto to get back into B site.
Ooh, okay. Commitment towards A, though. First time we're seeing this deep exploration coming out from Victor, coming out from Crashies. Now, T1 have been playing these patient defaults. This is going to be quite telling. They I'm not sure if they spotted one or two, maybe just one. There are 3 players here. On towards Mound is the other 2. So, how far does NRG go on this? It should at least cost T1 a little bit of utility on the way back, having to clear close. Should burn it up, make it a little easier to hold on towards the sites for those 2. And they have cleared that. So now where does T1 go? Again, they're not finding much of this info, Mike.
Looking to run the clock down once again. NRG relinquish some of this control towards Rubble early on. Victor and Crash is now back towards a more traditional position.
It's just Artist and FNS to hold this.
They have to go huge here.
How much can these 2 do? Nice stall for one, but Sire player reads through it. Catches FNS looking a little out of sorts, so it's just Artist, and the support's still a mile away. Trying to play cool, probably calm, he's gone down. T1 now with only 3 more to find, and this map's theirs. Plant gonna go in, time on their side. Crashies gone, that Sire player wanting more. Meets his maker in the form of Victor, but it is gonna be just the last 2. Som and Victor try and turn any of this. Can they take it to OT on map 1? So much to come up against, look at this. First contact on towards the turret. There's the swing, there's the kill, and there is map 1. T1 digging deep there to beat out NRG.
Beautiful stuff in the last 2 rounds as well. Looking to slow everything down. Allow that pressure to build, and NRG went hunting a couple of times, but didn't pay off for them. They struggled once again on this defensive half. Yes, they had a beautiful adjustment halfway through that.
Yeah.
It looked as if they got themselves right back in a position to close things out. Artist having a fantastic game here on the Killjoy. T1. I'm a little surprised, I'll be honest, because this was something I was looking at, and I wanted T1 to approach this with the same confidence and the same willingness to play aggressive and really take the fight that we saw versus EDG. Here, initially we saw in the second half, but they looked as if they strayed away from that. That's why I got a little bit worried, honestly, because that's where an IGL like Finesse really starts to excel. Once he gets his finger on the pulse and really grasp what T1 are trying to achieve, that's the sort of game that you expect NRG to win.
If anything, that credits T1 higher.
Absolutely.
They're able
like
to
I said,
pull
I'm
that
very
off.
surprised that they closed this out.
Yeah, what a stark contrast to their initial opening game up against EDG, right? That is a totally different tone change, pace change coming through to this, and be able to kind of adjust to the depths that we were crediting and praising NRG for that little late game run to bring them back up to 11. Hey, T1 did it right back to... Now you would say though this map, yes, it's probably the most favorable one that T1 has available. Next up, they've got Bind to look at. That is a whole different beast.
Yeah, and again, NRG's pedigree runs so deep on Bind, so T1 definitely a bigger challenge now, but for me, big tick in the box to get themselves on the board here with the first map of this series.
Yeah, this is huge. T1 showing us a fantastic performance on map 1. Bind on the horizon. That is what I cannot wait to see, so do not go anywhere.
Wow. Okay.
Thinking you got the last laugh, but love is a man to doubt. It's true, I can live without you. Half a day in and I'm down in the city. We're done playing around. It's true, better off as two. I will never run away. I need to stay, holding on to the air with every breath I take. I will never run away. I need to stay, holding on to the air with every breath I take.
That's got to be a dream start for T1. I'm joined by their coach, Autumn, here with me. Now, NRG, they showed their Lotus yesterday. How much did that help you in terms of preparation, and did you see any weaknesses that you used against them today?
Honestly, they have same strat and the same way for their both of sides. Like they played on NA VCT. So I thought their the system of the game is totally same. And honestly, their attack side is pretty good, but I saw their defense side is really weak. So I prepared their attack side. So I told my guys how can we counter them on our defense side, and it worked.
Yeah, you did a great job. Thank you very much, Autumn. And let's just see if you can close us out on Vine. Good luck.
Thank you.
It most definitely did work as T1 get a 13-11 victory over NRG. And NRG were making that one a real close one at the end there. But it was good to see that T1 doubled down and were able to bring it back. Welcome, everyone. Golden Boy alongside with Mimi and Kukuka. And, you know, I have to say, like, again, it's just great to see this T1 team just not give NRG, you know, a step. But also NRG kind of forcing the situations at times, well, maybe a little bit to their detriment as well.
Yeah, I think NRG is continuing to really struggle with this defensive side. And T1, to their credit, played super well on the attack. They really slowed things down on their Lotus. We're playing a lot of these rounds where they're just waiting to use their utility to feel out NRG's aggression, and then mid-round re-pushing for extremity control and ending in these really effective late pops.
I love that we heard Autumn talk about it. I think that they kind of read them to a T. They know that they're not going to be on those fast rotations. They're going to take their time. I think that the flanks were very good and very clean. They understood exactly the timing and when to do things in the game, not only round per round, more than just in the round itself. So I love to see that T1, you know, decided to go for this map and was very right about how to approach it.
And, well, we do have to give credit to T1. I also have to critique NRG's style with this composition because they're falling into the same traps. It started with a lot of this overly aggressive extremity control. They would wait to see if there's any utility for T1, and if there wasn't, they would still commit for these fast pushes towards Rubble that were getting punished by T1, who is ready for those. And when they decided to slow things down, their default setup had both the Neon and the Sky anchoring on their A site, which meant they couldn't be as proactive to re-clear space in the mid-round or use those Neon stuns to stall out executes, which is one of the biggest strengths of this composition when teams like Cloud9 play it.
Yeah. I think that also the fact that the timeouts were so very well prepped, knowing that, you know, it's not only what we identify as their weakness, it's also the change that they're going to make. Let's try and read onto that. Let's try and change the flank for this round. I think that it was a very good masterclass from T1.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and shift focus to our Aim Lab shooter round. And we're going to be checking in on T1's Saya player. Always fun to see him shooting some bubbles. Or in this case, inanimate objects in the shape of...
They're animate. They're moving. They move.
I guess so. Yeah, you're right. They are animated in the video game known as Aim Lab.
Of the game? Like anime?
By the way, I believe if you scan that QR code, you will get yourself a. I think it's.
Saya player for yourself.
Yeah, that or a discount. It's a nice little discount. That's what it is. We changed it up a little bit, guys. Nice little discount for Aim Lab Plus. So go ahead, check that out. Scan that QR code, and you too can shoot the animate objects. Like Saya.
Good fix.
There you go. Thanks.
But Saya was playing exceptionally well on that first map. He's kept his performance from the game versus EDG here internationally, and I'm sure that feels good to him to get that first win over NRG. Because, well, a lot of these players have played against this core in the past and have lost them. It's this guy who went to Reykjavik, got knocked down to the lower bracket by this core, and has really felt the crushing loss before. And now he's turned that around with T1.
He really has, but I think it's also important to note as well that this team still very new, right? As we get ready for map 2 on Bind, and they're going to NRG's home turf. I mean, this is a map that they are so good at, Kukuka. So you have to be a little concerned that T1, you know, when they see this structure here from NRG on Bind, hey, anything's possible.
Coming into this event, there was only one map. By the way, this is the first Bind that we're getting, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And there was one thing that I was looking forward to the most, and it was T1's Bind. Okay. If they're going to run that Viper Harbor Gecko, I cannot wait to see it.
All right, well, actually, we did end up getting some words from Chet ahead of this matchup with Yinsu. Let's check that out.
I've got Chet, the coach of NRG, here with me before we head into Bind. Now, Chet, you've been in these positions before, one map loss. It doesn't seem to phase you guys. You normally still close out the series, but what is the strat now? What's the most important thing for you when you are behind?
Well, I felt like we just didn't play our fundamentals good in this last game, and I think we played down to their level instead of playing like how we are, like a tier 1 team. So I feel like I just had to talk. We just need to do our stuff correctly, and we should just win.
You've done it before, Chet. Thank you very much for joining me, and best of luck.
I just love Chet interviews. You know, we're a T1 team. Even though they're called T1, not T1, but we'll win the next one. I will say, though, that Mimi, at some point, I do appreciate the confidence that he has in his players, as he should. But you really do have to start putting some respect on the T1 players, or else they'll catch you off guard again.
They say those things, but I'm sure he does. And talk of this comp that you were excited for, Kakuka, it's back. The Gecko locked in for T1. So this is really modern bind. It's going to be Harbor Viper versus Harbor Viper.
I'm excited about this. I know the Angel is excited about Artist playing on the stage. Definitely two compositions that are going to clash against each other. But, you know, talking about preparation, NRG decides to go for this map. If T1 makes the mistake that, according to them, NRG was committed on that Lotus and play exactly that they play in that region, that Gecko can fall flat pretty easily.
In this first half, I think we should be watching for the extremity control from both these teams. With the Gecko Harbor, T1 will be really good to push down with a Cascade and that Gecko Flash or a Sky Flash behind it. And on the other side for NRG, they have good util for that as well. They play really slow with this comp, and they have lots of stall in their post plans.
It may look statistically favorable for NRG, but do not sleep on T1 because they got some things cooking. Let's go ahead and send it over to Pansy and Hypoc for the call.
Yeah, thank you, GB and the desk. And I think I have to ask you the question then about this modern bind comp, however they phrased it. Oh, how's that face not quite telling?
Something.
How do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel pretty good about it. It's the sort of thing we were talking about EG yesterday with the Sova on Fracture. It's another one of those ones where it kind of throws off the protocols, and NRG are a team that are very reliant on that, right? They're very reliant on the prep, and I mean, Chet put it really well, right? Yeah, we need to play our game, stick to the game plan sort of thing. So this is another one that I think is an example. It's going to test the preparation for NRG for something that potentially isn't, you know, familiar ground to them.
You're right. Okay, I like that. I like that. I guess if you're going to look at this map head-to-head, pound for pound, if T1 played the way NRG was going to play, NRG are going to win that every day of the week. So why not try something a little bit different? Speaking of something that's not too different is... Oh, okay, bye-bye, Victor. I guess that's how you deal with Victor trying to do those things. Something quite choreographed and well-read.
Some will get the plant through, though. All will go up behind Rashi's will test it, but Koppe gets two there.
Wait.
The mosh pit finds as well.
Where was the mosh pit put down? Maybe on...
Inside the cove.
Oh, dear, NRG. This is going to be a shaky start. There we go. How much can they do here? Finesse. Only got one in him. Not going to be able to find any more. This. Nah, not happening. T1.
This is definitely something to keep your eye on as well. We talk about now Harbor getting more playtime, I guess, across the entire map pool and counters, right? What can you do to really, I guess, remove the ability to find that guaranteed plant inside the cove? And the mosh pit, perfect example. To force them out, it gives them extra time to break it or for it to even expire. Which is something that NRG might have to adjust slightly on their default plant locations. If they've got lineups potentially for the cove coming in or anything like that, it's going to force NRG to adapt on the fly to some of these post-plant setups.
But also, I love the fact that Carpe was just sat there waiting with a shorty. Like, that made me so happy. Because again, when we look at the likes of Victor on this map, a couple of them are very like stylized, right? We're very, very aware of how they like to play because it's been so good historically. So if we get more of that, can't wait.
It's even on top of that as well, Sire with the satchels, another tool to disrupt that cove plant as well.
True.
A slower start here. Emphasis shift from NRG towards Showers, but already Finesse has slipped the net. It's posted up, but the awareness there from Carpe. Look at the reposition here from T1.
Yeah, they're playing backside, allowing NRG. Oh, not allowing NRG anything. I've lied to you. Zeta doesn't even need to see him to kill him. They do make it towards the site, but that weapon just ain't enough. Carpe feeling the pressure now, though. Artist wants to close that gap, but he can't quite do it, so he has to just sit by Tribox. It's down to the last two. They do get the plant down. Carpe could do with some help here. Being toyed with, and Artist given no play in that. Som now, last one there. Dizzy gonna be sent on it. And hello, final player, Som! A little spicy, but ain't gonna be enough. That's three standing, that's a defuse. T1 looking very composed here, Mike.
Carry across three weapons as well. Carpe and Sire, 400 and 500, sorry, 50 credits. So we're not going to play this through and try and protect the economy a little bit. The early progress here from Carpe will result in the ultimate being available in round 3. Zeta just catches a glimpse. Makes them pay for it. Actually, for the first time, I explore towards B, or at least initially here, lent that direction. Another thing, got my eye on, as always, Finesse. What value can he find behind this wall to lurk up on short? Heavy lean towards A here from T1.
He's got a lot of players to potentially find value against. 3 there. Oh, hello. Munchkin noting quite the substantial presence towards B long.
And a big indicator who it was as well. It's the Sky and the Rays. So no rotation comes through just yet. We'll see Munchkin back off a little bit and respect this pressure early on.
I think he's just trying to buy a couple. I don't know. He's not even.
Nobody's moving
rotating.
yet,
Yeah. So I guess him holding like that was a little bit daring, but does eventually slip back towards elbow.
Maybe posturing up a little bit just to imply there is a second player of T1 here, but NRG looking to follow through.
Now I want to see the commitment on this.
Is this just all catered towards isolating a player outside hooker? Maybe a TP crunch coming through.
Okay, burning the ult. That should confirm there's no one on the side, so it should be rather telling that it is just one player, so they should be able to get the plant.
Yeah, they cleared through with Carpe's ultimate.
Yeah, okay, so noting very little, sees a whole lot. Now it's time to go. Can they make anything on this? Yes! Sire player there so quickly. Finesse trying to backfill though, gonna catch at least the support system of Carpe coming in, but now Sire player's attention's turns. And it's gonna be FNS looking vulnerable but standing tall. On towards the site though, any more presence coming in from CT. Munchkin, yes, noted, and not handled. Crashy. Oh, Munchkin! The Forbes! Unreal! And now FNS and Victor looking worse for wear. FNS is the best he can. 3 huge kills. It's all on Victor in a 1v2. This shouldn't have been this close. They reveal, and now the 1v1. Victor is ice cold in these though. He's not going to fall for it. He doesn't. NRG barely make it out breathing, but still standing with 1 on the board.
Victor goes huge with the Red Bull clutch, and T1 really taking the fight to NRG on this B site execute. Beautiful approach here. Maybe this is the indicator here with Carpe's ultimate of how they want to approach some setups here. Heavy emphasis towards A early on. They don't spot Finesse on that deep lurk outside.
Without him,
and he goes huge. Yeah, 3 kills on the round for him. It's only, I believe, Zeta's Snakebite that finally brings him down.
That was the bonus, keep in mind. That was T1 with far less. Now we see them on the bite. What does NRG have to bring to...
Well, Ardis down on a Spectre. He has to prioritize, obviously, the wall. And does actually go for a full shield here.
Okay, so Zeta and Carpe playing once again backside, super deep. Information, nothing noted down towards Fountain, deep B long. You already saw the, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Munchkin sending out utility there time and time again. Still nothing flagging, so they've got to be aware there's a high chance it's coming towards A. They've pulled over the 3rd player. Slayer playing now towards the A site, and NRG playing contact. They're so deep already.
Probably wondering, yeah, where do you want to play in?
A little bit of an anti-plant setup almost there. Mosh pit going to be invested, allows time for a little bit of a second glance from Carpe. Spams in, maybe looking for Victor, but he doesn't find the target. A little delay on the plant. Sure, Sire players. Paint Shuttle will find some, though, but the plant is in now.
Ardis is going to have his hands full. Luckily slips away from shorts. 2 players from T1 look to retake that space. Pit invested towards Lamps here is going to allow NRG to solidify this hold for the time being.
Crashies can't stay alive. Ban's got him. And now they start to get back towards the site. Ardis falls, and now it's down towards what's in the pit. You just saw Victor slip on through. I'm pretty sure he's just seen. FNS gets a little closer, but falls. And now it's all revealed. The fuse comes in. T1 navigating this NRG threat so well. 3 alive. The fuse is there. 3-1 now.
Carpe waits until the final moment when there's definitely a commitment behind this utility. And that's the catalyst for T1 to follow through. NRG, like I said, it felt as if scratching their heads walking up here onto A site. Not a single player showing their hand from T1.
Because it kind of felt bizarre almost that we've seen T1 kind of play like backside, right, sitting super deep, but then their anti-plant setup's kind of denying that space between, you know, the mosh pit coming in, the paint shells, everything else. They've got a lot of kit to kind of give themselves that retake potential almost before the spike's even down.
Winnable for T1, maybe.
Victor does have the showstopper here. Sire player.
Oh, Sire player.
To greet them, but Crashy's punished for the Sheriff.
There are 3 players here though from T1. So this was a sack. It is going to be only Munchkin over towards that B side, so they should be able to hold on towards this one. NRG finding more connections. Oh, ban, that's nasty. FNS are not going to be happy with that. Van wants him dead. One more shot in this. And one more bullet, but Zeta Snakebite will do it. Leaving just some crashies now. Spike's not even down. T1 really problematic to play against. I feel we're going to see a timeout from NRG. Soon is a strong word, but I think we'll see it relatively quickly as this is very much a different looking bind coming out here. Do we just see Seekers?
Yeah, Munchkin's just posted the Seekers on B.
Wow.
A little bit of an overinvestment here, but I guess T1 desperate to convert this anti-eco. Crashes down to 32 HP and Som down to 78, so got a question there. Som's already done some work here from that same position with the Sheriff, but Zeta shuts it down. A pit as well. T1 throwing everything here.
30 seconds left.
They're terrified of crashies. Already got 2 kills this round and gets himself the Phantom.
Now's the time to be scared when he's got the upgrade.
20 seconds to play with and 32 HP. Dips on in, tries to keep.
He's got time to hit this TP.
I think he's going to do just that. Munchkin, though, can't position just to catch across. He has to just beeline towards the site. This shouldn't happen, and it won't. A lot invested into that, but for T1, I guess it's another round posted.
Yeah, but I'm looking at that. It's a massive overinvestment in my eyes.
Doesn't even break the bank either.
I mean, the pit's the one that's...
That felt like a lot.
Yeah. Especially here on the defense on bind, but let's wait and see if that amounts to anything here. Obviously, Showstopper available, crashes now with the Seekers online. NRG with the advantage. Maybe T1 just throwing those in, knowing that NRG slightly off kilter with this ult cycle.
Aggression?
Yeah, looking to switch things up massively. Deny this space from Finesse, but...
And how contrasted. We've seen them playing deep backside. First challenger found and falls. It's Sire player going down, and FNS passes with flying colors.
They're on opposite sides of the wall there. Carpe swinging one way, Sire swinging the other. A little bit disjointed, and we saw a few examples of that on Lotus, but time being, NRG a 5v4 situation presented.
Scout destroyed.
And now they're exploring towards showers. They're desperate to get FNS down. But look at his positioning. So hard to clear. There's no way you're going to be going that deep, are you? How far do they take this? FNS could be anywhere in their minds, but the crazy part is that NRG are coming back this way. This could be bizarre in a couple of seconds now.
I've got your trail.
The Seekers should tell, yeah, a very, very strange picture that someone's pushed up, but do they expect a second player here as well? It'll be very difficult for them to get out of this.
30 seconds left.
And in position to find one, but crashes, stands tall, finds the first, but Carpe will respond. A 3v4 now for T1. Not much utility to work with either, outside of Carpe.
Yeah, flash just back on now for Munchkin. Contact there, picked up, fully flashed, fully white. It's Zeta to take down Som, they know where Victor is. And he's gonna have to pop the ult, he has to do it! He only gets down one though, but he still gets to keep his life. Diffuser started, gets denied, Carpe gets off it, takes down FNS. Now down to the 2v2, but time is ticking. They've got to find these final players and Artist. He's holding that back line. Munchkin now, forced further away. Victor puts him to his grave. NRG burns a whole lot, but they walk away with their second now.
Okay,
One thing here for NRG to reduce this lead.
Hopefully that's enough.
Again, looking at where the purchase will lie here. Munchkin toying with a Guardian, but
30 seconds
yeah,
left.
very, very strange to see Sire and Carpe so disconnected here. It was those two players on Lotus I'm talking about. There was a couple of examples where
Female in my fam.
these swings just aren't diligent enough versus a team like NRG. A Judge, a Stinger, Marshall here, so light investment on the side of T1.
NRG just going through the checklist, right? Clearing out to the shower, spamming out the box. And they are now forced the hell away. Ban. I'll stick around on this a little bit and gonna lose his life. A little bit of an interesting choice, yeah. Wrong call there from him. Carpe tagged up. Pain Shell could be the death of him too. See how much damage he takes. Fair amount. Down very low here. You're already gonna hear that TV. Taken shot comes out. Victor very, very clean on this. And the last two players, Zeta and Munchkin, this is a They're an impossible situation, a sheriff and a judge. Very hard to pry any more value out of this round. As NRG looking to stabilize here, and they're not far from it. It should be a 3 to 4 scoreline. Potentially 5 alive if they are managing to stay away from those last 2 weapons.
Zates are just desperately waiting for anything. I don't think we'll even find a consolation. NRG should be able to solidify their position overall here. Give them effectively a round in hand if they can keep this. Keep all of these weapons on the board. We'll be careful. Zates doesn't follow into the TP, but no, Ops just fall. And building back towards a couple of these ultimates as well. Victor, 4 away from the showstopper again. Ardis just about getting close to that first res. The T1 actually with that overinvestment previously, in a pretty good position in terms of this ult cycle, Lauren.
Yeah.
Carpe back on that ultimate. We saw it used in what, round 3? Sire play on the showstopper as well. NRG looking to continue pressuring this A site hold. Curious to what the adjustment is here for T1.
Victor, first port of call to try and take a little bit further control now. Over towards Lamps. We have seen that T1 are happy kind of playing from backside to an extent. They're very tough to get away from be able to deny the plant coming in, but that could be quite telling. First time we're seeing Ardis down deep by Fountain. But wait, you're seeing them walk behind this. Hold on. Munchkin's going looking for this fight here. Pop Flash. You sent through Ardis. Got to be ready for this one. He's not. Munchkin commits, and now this is scary, right? Trying to get through. They push through this. There's that ult as well. Masses of information. Paint shell sent as well. Lovely combination work.
Som stuck in the detain. Falls to the paint shell. Moshpit denying space to finesse here.
Slowing them down.
Yeah, Carpe stalling this one out.
Sire player on the way as well. Still Boombot there. Still has the ult as well. Maybe they could decide to dip through the TP if they want to. But again, look towards where Munchkin's positioning is. He can be such an issue if they want to try and cross out
30
through
seconds
from
left.
Luca. Down to 27 seconds. Flash, they know it. They know what's their way. Zate's going to find finesse, and there's going to be the showstopper. Crashies making something for it. But 18 seconds, a 1v2. It ain't going to be easy. Oh, he makes a damn good go, but the positioning was great from Munchkin. They're on time, and keeping T1 just a little further ahead of NRG.
Yeah, maintaining a 2-round gap here. T1 will be able to scrape together. NRG actually going to pump the brakes here. Call a timeout. And some of these pinches through the TP, you can see Som just desperately trying to get away.
Yo, not even close!
It was pretty close.
Not even.
Yeah, it was pretty close. So yeah, curious if NRG are going to come out and switch things up a little bit here. Testing this A site hold once again. I guess struggling a little bit in terms of finding some sort of comfort here on the attack. It feels very, very hit or miss in terms of they find an opening engagement and create an opening, but T1's utility work has been fantastic there. Yes. They're ticking both boxes for me here. The anti-plant setups are perfect, and again, using the utility to stall when they do feel the pressure, and they concede that first blood as well.
Yeah, it's such a different tempo and kind of pacing to the game. Considering that, it's a very unique lineup in the agent composition that, as you said, it makes the rhythm that NRG are trying to set a little off kilter. It's a little harder to depend on those plants coming in because it's, again, T1 will give up vast majority of side control. We're rarely seeing them go for those early challenges apart from that one that went pretty poorly against FNS. They can sit back, kind of just keep denying time and time again till those rotations are in. They have, the nice 5v5 on the site if they don't lose players. But I do want to see what NRG now lean towards, right? They've kind of had a lot of that test towards A. We haven't seen them explore that B side all too often. Might be seeing it now.
We have Ardis and Finesse disconnected from this, so a widespread default. Take control outside the TP here, but Ardis have his hands full if T1 look to aggress, and not expected at all. Ardis finds 2 absolute freebies.
Do they just take the TP and go? Surely. Yeah, you absolutely do. Now, the only man who can stop him is Carpe. Moshpit gonna buy time, isolate a fight towards FNS, but not enough. FNS disrespecting that. Goes back in for a second look, and why not? Sight's all there, Plan gonna come in. This should be comfortable.
Carpe thinking he'd force Finesse off that angle, but
planted.
he said re-challenging opens the site up for NRG. T1 a little lazy on this push out of Showers, you got to say. Try and pull something like that out of a timeout. You have to anticipate NRG have switched things up.
Last player standing.
Crash is sharper than Munchkin this time around. It's just been out in no man's land.
Yeah.
Zeta positioned here in elbow.
Yeah. Credit here to NRG for adjusting very well after that timer, but I think you're right in kind of highlighting that sort of clear through Showers. I guess it's the first time they'd seen that sort of thing, maybe just expecting FNS, but not expecting an adjustment off the back of the timeout. Maybe short-sighted there.
Yeah.
And again, like to have seen a little bit more intent behind it. Does Victor get this final one? See. Yes, he does. Okay. Rifle removed. I want to see where the money lays for T1 as well.
T1's success hasn't come from aggression or being proactive here on the defense, so that's why it's a little strange to see it right out of the timeout.
You fought well.
I think it's, yeah, bands deeper on the angle. It's, I don't know if they're expecting to swing at the same time here, but just off kilter. I even said earlier on in this map, it's not the first time we've said that in this series about T1. Some of the setups they have.
That's a good picture of Wing.
Is it? Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice. But now, there should be formalities underselling these sort of rounds. I want to see if NRG
should tie up here, though.
Yes, it should be 5 apiece, considering if it does get into dangerous territory, you have 3 very impactful ults coming through. You have a full purchase. You've been having the success you need. It would need someone to be either caught in a terrible mistake or over-delivering massively. For now, seemingly very cognizant of Munchkin's positioning. It's been a bit of a nuisance towards Ardis when they had been going for that heavier lean towards A, and Ardis left to kind of deal with him towards long. Dog to clear, Ardis to follow, and Munchkin has to respect that.
Yeah.
But early on, though, you just see Munchkin solo posturing towards B. This time around, 3 teammates stacked behind him, so he's going to try and bait out a little bit of pressure here. Ardis needs full effect on that flash, and Munchkin posts up deeper on the angle.
I kind of like what Munchkin's doing, though. He's like almost overselling, right? He's like trying to bait them into playing the site, which with the Seekers coming in kind of negates that. It loses a little bit of its validity as NRG go, hold on, all of those Seekers just went towards this site. I think there's a stack.
Looking to commit behind it, though. Victor looking to find some space. All committed now. Showstopper as well.
Yeah,
Next found one.
Time, 10 seconds, hold on. Where's that final player, Sire? What can you do about this? Only a Sheriff, 5 seconds, the plant's in. Victor, down low. But the rest sitting pretty. Perfect HP, this would need miracles for Sire player. And NRG are giving him nothing. No flank to be seen, they are sat waiting. These crossfires breaking would be very difficult. And again, no one's moving a muscle. NRG are waiting this one out. Swans Victor takes him. He was the weaker of the 3. And the other 2 can just filter away, posture towards long, get ready to slip away. And Sire player losing these opportunities second by second here.
That's on the way out. No, Som turns on it. NRG do tie things up. 3 full, but finances protected here. We have to purchase out for the rest of the half. Requires a little bit of investment on the side of NRG. Only the res available here. I said time definitely became a factor here, and that's where I see some of these scrappy little stacks can cause problems. NRG wise to it, clean up nicely.
It's a remix. Okay, so Seekers for Munchkin, Reckoning as well. Zeta's actually only one away too, that could be interesting. I wonder if that comes through in this round. What do we have here as the start? So a little bit more of an interest towards the A site that, I mean, it's your bog standard default really, but with a little bit of intention towards Shower behind it, and FNS slipping on up.
The adjustment here though being it's banned to support Carpe and not Zeta this time around. I think only 1 snake bite, if that was invested or wasn't brought into the round.
Something magnificent about hearing Wingman in this arena. Seeker's going to come through, as does Munchkin. This now is a crunch, but Crashies fights his way out of it with FNS's deeper position. It catches off Carpe, and now the plant can come in. They've got them pinned. Now, Victor, how much more you got? Oh, that's just ridiculous work, but Munchkin overwhelms him. We're down to a 3v3 here. This is still very, very possible. Tough work, though, for Zeta to try and build back through from CT.
No utility to work with. Munchkin down to 9 HP, and Ardis looking to punish. Munchkin closed up at the angle, though.
Oh, he's got
a
him!
kill.
Massive player advantage now. FNS and Som. Starting to feel that strain. Som trying to slip away a little deeper as FNS trying to readjust here, make it work on the fly. T1 starting to be hands forced here, have to make the way, and FNS doing everything he can. Oh, it's not enough. This time is on their side. T1 clawing this back.
Finesse nearly with a beautiful on-the-fly adjustment of this Poison Orb. Finds a freebie in the backlines and bails out. Som here. Yeah, Munchkin, this is the crucial kill. Ardis is readjusting here, potentially to find that res, to get an extra body back online in showers. Beautiful awareness from Munchkin. Carpe brings a Bulldog in here, but one away from the ultimate once again. Zeta, Sai, and Ban all have theirs available. Viper's Pit off the rip. Will secure that showers control early on. One should lean deeper towards this B commitment. As you can see, actually, yeah, Ban making his way across. And Carpe retrieved the orb as well, so beautiful position to be in here for T1.
Yeah, you can see Carpe's diligence starting to show because he's been punished by FNS slipping here so many times. I think FNS is timing on that. Yeah, okay. Carpe was ready for it this time, but has to make a quick evacuation. The site is fully under NRG control. They've got everything you want. Yes, the mosh pit's going to come in to slow it down a little bit. Viper's Pit being almost thrown up as well. This is everything being poured in. Victor going to isolate Carpe with just the spam straight on through. The plant denied still, held off still. See T1 want to fight back in.
Finally, the plant comes through. Shows
Oh,
Copper here.
denied.
Saya doesn't come in through, but
Oh, get Ardis!
wait, Som took the spike through the TP.
Som's got to run.
Whoa.
He's
I
a
was gonna
lucky
say,
boy.
Munchkin.
He's heard this. Surely Munchkin has heard these steps. They bought so much time for this. What a bizarre scenario, Mike.
30 seconds left.
So many ults committed here on site. So much utility.
25.
Not a lot of time left on the clock.
Look at Munchkin.
This is huge.
If they have any more utility to throw in, this would be the time. Slow it down for just a second or two, and Munchkin can be down. Oh, the TP! They're making a run for it. 13 seconds. They're off. He's double checking. He's making sure. He's triple checking. But no, they made it all the way out to B. And if you're Munchkin, you are furious with this. With only a second to spare, the plant is in, and Sire player overextends a little too far. It's Victor to find him. And now man advantage sat with NRG.
Crashy's looking to make something work in elbow here. Ban has to find this kill if it's doable for T1. And he doesn't. Crashies will shut him down.
Tie it all up. This could be 6 apiece on the half here. Munchkin, good work. Needs a lot more, though. Tag and the frag. Zeta gets it. Time now.
Safe plant.
Oh my god, it is. They've got to fight into this Crashies. It ain't pretty. Zeta gets towards halfway. He's going to go huge. He can't do it. Crashies closing in on the gap. Bringing us back to 6 apiece. This is the game I want to be seeing. NRG being challenged on a map that is so notoriously good for them. This composition. I see the method to the madness here, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. I think T1 applying it perfectly.
Say it, buddy.
LG with the right response, but coming out level pegging here. 6-6 on the half.
Safe? No.
A couple of these right down to the wire. NRG sweating in the last 15 seconds of some of these attacking rounds.
This is just brilliant. Where else would you want to be? I want to see how this concludes. At 6 apiece, I think the desk will be waiting to take you through so far.
Trust me, I want to see how this thing concludes as well, Lauren. That was probably one of the most wild rounds of Valorant we've seen at an international event in quite some time, but 6-6 again, Kakuka. I don't think anyone going into this was like, yeah, you know, these two teams are going to be evenly matched. Like, don't get me wrong, not to try and, like, throw shade, but oh my goodness gracious, T1 are bringing it, NRG's bringing it, it's amazing.
You're saying that you want this to end? This is probably the most entertaining map that we have in the competition so far. And I was so excited to watch this composition, especially because of the way that this utility is going to be used coming from T1. And we can see it in this round. They have the mosh pit, they have the snake bats, they have the pain shield. There's so many things that they can use to prevent, to delay the plan, and of course, to create that chaos, that damage that will give them a huge upper hand when we're talking about those retakes.
And I think a lot of that is a prep against the style that NRG plays on this map. When they go for these executes on either side, it's quite predictable. On A, it's a wall from the Sage to block off. You're planting close, and you're normally holding in U-Haul to hold for this post. But T1 are constantly disrupting that with utility. The first volley is those mollies you're talking about, and the second volley is always a combination of the Sky Flash and the Dizzy coming over at once, which lets them flood in and find such good value in these retakes. But now we switch over into the second half here, and for NRG on the defensive side, this composition is one where they're normally really good at playing into these retakes. They don't have the same stall that T1 does, but where they will thrive is fighting back in using those Sage Wall and the Harbor utility to block off that spike.
I think that Carpe has been doing an insane job. So now if we take a look also at that attack win percentage, it's also pretty high for them. I think that we're going to get a lot of what we saw in the first half translated into Carpe. Also some brilliant performance on Harbor.
Oh, this match has truly been the gift that keeps on giving. And the good news is we have plenty more to come. Let's send it right back over to Pansy and Hypoc.
Yeah, 6 apiece. I don't know how this then translates into the second half though, Mike, because I just don't know enough about this composition, right? When we see these agents coming out, how viable is it on the second half? Yes, it looked great on the first half. They've certainly kept up at 6 apiece. I keep going back to, you know, historical results. You know, you go to what you know, and obviously NRG, on paper, you got to put a lot of stock in them. But here, they're being challenged by all occasions.
So I will actually be in position to receive a lot of information early on here. NRG will have to pivot away, or reposition at least. Ardis tasked with anchoring towards A. Late investment of the wall outside showers, so we'll give him some sort of comfort. NRG still looking to probe here.
They're going to carry on this path. They're stuck in no man's land. They've got to win the fights, and they do. Som and FNS keeping NRG standing in this, but look at the HP. Yes, they're down low. Can Sire player catch the punish? I think FNS has read it well. Absolutely now hearing that frenzy fire. The Pain Shell Munchkin tries to slip away a little quietly on this. Still trying to go for the same approach though.
No regrowth here from Crashies, so Finesse down to 18, Som down to 10. Ardis on the other side of the map won't be able to heal anybody up. And they're committing towards this 4-man stack. They're expecting T1 to wait outside this cut sound and wait for the rotation to come through, but we can see it's not happening. And actually, that's a big, big tool for T1 to work off now. The flash finding nothing, and NRG drift away, Lauren.
Yeah, you can see Ardis maybe calling for help. A little bit of utility coming through that's keeping his attention turned. But now, does Crashies call him back? No, not yet. They're leaving it down to the 2 here. Som is very low, though, and he's held his ground well. Munchkin going down is huge. And now just the 2 remaining. But yes, the HP is low, but the heals are going to come out. You're going to start seeing some of these players getting back on their feet. It's only Som really left. Down on very little. Need almost an oversell here. And Sire player trying to be pivotal, trying to be that guy. Does do well, but he's lost Sator in the meantime. Now there's problems. How does he get past 4 players? That's the first, that's the second!
He's got the nade!
Shell, switch up to the ghost! Not gonna happen! Wow, FNS called in there to deal with the problem that was on the site, because that got way too close.
Yeah, T1 play this to perfection though. Like I said, waiting outside here, NRG anticipating that, the flash finding nothing, and they commit to that rotation. Luckily though, Som with 10 HP finds a crucial kill to bring it to a 5v2. Massive from him. Sire makes that one interesting, yes, but can't get anything done with the nade reset. Just a Marshal invested here, 2 Sheriffs, Zeta and Carpe.
Toxins going up.
Really, in this half, you're looking for NRG to, again, mitigate some of the risk early on with this utility from T1, but also prevent T1 from really having strength to set up for some of these executes. I'm curious, once we get to the buy rounds, how NRG will approach this.
same old exchange of utility. I wonder if maybe Carpe and Ban could have caught a little timing on FNS there, but no. He's been playing a very, very good game, FNS. Playing in crashes here on that lovely little pop flash. Lovely. Keeping it clean. Victor's in the right place. T1 not finding any real room to work here. I mean, the spikes are back down in spawn. They're not particularly doing too much in that way.
Look at the probe on both extremities, try and find something tangible to work from.
Shield going up.
NRG able to slow this down though. Saya going hunting, but Ardis is positioned close on bench here.
30 seconds left.
Will punish. Carpe down to 1 HP. Come through, and will respond. Anything extra here will be a bonus, but Ardis finds his third.
It didn't feel like there was masses of intent from T1 in that when you see
a lot of threat, no.
Nah. But the bonus isn't going to be particularly strong coming out from NRG, so a very good opportunity for T1 on this bye to come back in with something that should get them in this round, or at least in this half.
Yeah, come into this with a Stinger, 2 Spectres. NRG definitely trying to prop themselves up a little bit here. Some early rounds. Saya player already 2 away from the showstopper.
We go!
About the only progress to write home about. I guess Som 2 off the reckoning on the other side of things. Deep control maintained here. The wall, but again, it's so early on that T1 probably going to wait this out. A little bit of Ardis love in the picture-in-picture there.
We all love Ardis deep down.
Yeah, you might not see it on this map, though.
No.
Angel's about the only person excited watching this.
He's absolutely frothing over this one. Loves a bit of it. Now, we are seeing a late walk down mid. Hold on. Ardis and Som. Is T1 checking it? Yeah, they do. Okay, so they're a little aware there's a chance there's a little deeper exploration mission with 49 seconds now. T1 starting to make their move towards the A site. As Ardis does need to slip away. Find a corner of safety. Try and find a fair fight. He's done it. Overwhelms Carpe and gets himself an upgrade.
Yeah.
Suddenly becoming a little bit more dangerous. Has to wait for the other 3 to make it towards the site. The plant is down now.
Zeta no snake bite, Saya no paint shell, so not a lot in terms of utility here to disconnect from sight. Zeta and Munchkin, are they looking to re-clear back through showers? Potentially, but a little bit of damage done onto Saya is going to force him back deeper. They've got to be quick about this if they want to.
Yeah, they've left him very alone, but Saya player apparently good for it. Got the ult as well, going to probably send that. Yes, he does. Doesn't get it, though. FNS! Oh, okay, it's Munchkin to hold on to this. Victor does have a rifle he had it at the start of the round. Not going to get the chance to fully bring it in. T1 surviving there with 2 standing. Casualties for sure, but still.
So, yeah, NRG draw blood and force. A massive repurchase here. Now Elias Munchkin's going to drop one across. And very diligent on the approach here to re-clear Som on top of the box because it's Ardis to bait out the presence.
I got you, okay?
T1 actually on the brink of a couple more ultimates though. Seeker's nearly there, Reckoning nearly there. LG do have the res, and actually Som 1 away from his as well. LG looking to get a little proactive potentially here, or just retrieve the orb. Carpe close, but not there to punish.
No, just a second or 2 off from that. You can see the progress being made on the other side of the map though, so hookah control will be in T1's hands. FNS calling over some support here, going to be seeing Victor lean over a little, but going back towards 8. Maybe feeling out the pressure over towards it, not reading into too much, but Sideplay's got a dirty little angle if anyone does try and come over to try and hit that rotation.
Yeah, very deep hold on B here. Finesse tucked outside the spawn entrance and crashes over towards elbow. But not committed angles here.
I think the flash wouldn't have found anyone there. The second one will do. Okay. Should be enough to pull over the players here as well, because side players on the site. So he's been able to clear pretty well through this. You noted it earlier though. Very, very deep hold coming out from NRG. Maybe leaning straight into that retake rather than the challenge.
Again, an overstep here from Zeta because NRG have the Reckoning, so big retake ultimate available here.
Speak of it. What did T1 do about this? Try and take a fight on the way out, but you can already see them being caught, being crossing away from elbow, and it's so clean on the playback in. So clean from NRG.
Victor too with the paint shells. Was that off the stun? I saw Som get the assist for it, but two people eat the same stun for the Reckoning and die to the same paint shell. Not sure if we'll get a chance to look at that.
There it is.
Yeah, get forced back inside the tube. That's huge. And again with, I'm not sure why, but unorthodox plant spot here forces T1 into a very committed post plant on site.
Yeah, a little underwhelming in that round for me for T1, a little bit short-sighted, considering the kit, the tools that NRG had to play with. Crashies this time. Tested quicker, but again, look at the bite. Okay, Sire players found him behind that wall, so that is a recoverable rifle if we see FNS going to sit a little bit deeper, which I feel like he will do. Can't particularly stand and fight on this one, no. He will respect it enough. So that is a rifle to hand. Zeke is going to come in as well. They want this one. While going to be coming through. And all players towards CT for NRG.
Let's see, Ultimate coming through here. Carpe going to clear some space. Does it catch anything?
Nah.
And ready to follow up, but nothing comes of it.
A little window towards site. Didn't find much this time with the paint shell though. 3 players towards elbow, 1 towards CT. Artist trying to be held back here. Lovely control being shown by Sire player. But you saw in the meantime, Son did isolate Munchkin. Swing through the wall, they lose. Sire player still standing, but only for so long. Once again, NRG pulling off these retakes very well.
Sire finds 3 on the round, but nobody else from T1 able to secure a kill. Victor back on the showstopper now. NRG on 10. And a crucial round here for T1 to come back into.
Let's see, there's a timeout. I mean, the side, we kind of looked to see how it looked on the second half here, Mike. It's not looked good.
Yeah, it really hasn't. We haven't seen much value, if any, from the utility on some of these executes. Yeah, it's only really Band's utility that's the focal point of these executes. So very curious to see if T1 are able to dig a little deeper here. Show us something else.
Yeah, I kind of hoped we'd see that same, slightly varied approach that we did on that first half. Brought in here something a little bit new.
Yeah, the difference in reliance on that utility is this is the half you expect to see.
Yes. Yeah, it's a bit strange. Now, obviously for NRG, if you're going to play them at a more standardized pace, a more standardized game, they're going to thrive in this, which we are seeing now. Not going to come in though. Som being chased down here. Sire player is hot on his heels, but not going to overextend on this. Artist already going to be holding back Ban. Falls away. Again, this is feeling individual, but it's worked well enough at least for one. Seeker comes in. Som can't quite step forward in time. I thought he'd have that one. Spraying wildly towards CT, but the plant has at least gone through for T1 this time.
No flank coming through, so T1's backline will be safe for the time being. Again, look at the utility. There's nothing available now for T1. Victor has a showstopper to work his way back in. A flash for Crashies now, who's on the operator. And 2 snake bites for Finesse.
Oh, denied! Oh, right back at you though. Som showing up here. Crashies connecting. And NRG starting to flood the site. Can Carpe and Munchkin do anything? No! NRG once again strolling through him.
So T1 just have no tools available whatsoever. NRG, yes, they concede the plant, but it doesn't cost them an awful lot.
Nope.
There's none of this inventory being drawn out by T1.
I'm honestly a little underwhelmed.
I mean, the timeout's coming now, but it's very late in the day. There's not enough rounds really to play with here. That felt like a must-win. They get the plant, yes, so it might enable a light shield purchase, but there'll be gaps in the utility, or you're forced onto an SMG. Sire player will have the showstopper, so there's something in terms of a confidence builder at least, but there have been very few positives on this half.
Yeah, well, only 1 round claimed so far for T1. That was the bonus, and it was actually a pretty poor bonus you're looking for.
Right, yeah, two came out of that from T1.
Yeah, so it wasn't even a clean victory in that way. Yeah. Now, okay, if we talk, more, I guess, outside of what we've seen so far, yes, NRG are extremely well known on this map, very, very diligent, of course. But again, it's not even that, really. We're just seeing that T1 don't have some of the key stakes that we were really excited by on the first half. That's just
pretty flat. There's not really been an awful lot of depth there. Not achieving too much in the early round, and they're not creating enough pressure. Like I said, NRG thriving in this. I mean, we talked about on map 1 that NRG would thrive in that sort of play style, and I think it's starting to show here on the second half. T1 lacking ideas.
Yeah, I don't know what this timeout's going to be able to achieve. That's what we're here to look at now.
Well, they've, see here on the screen, forced back in, a judge potentially in the hands of Sire player who does have the showstopper, and rifles across the board. Zeta being the only asterisk. A Bulldog, but favoring the utility.
Yeah, Victor's got the operator though, and that scares the life out of me. They will be able to get pretty close towards him. He has to respect that utility and back away here. Sire player to get anything.
What?
Huh?
They tried to pinch through showers, but the showstopper doesn't find his Som. Invulnerable in that position, apparently.
I'm a little heartbroken from that. That looked pretty on the money. Ban going to suffer the damage to try and get the plant down, but it's something to get the punish towards Munchkin. And now 3v3. Artis even having that res in pocket, going to bring him back up towards 4, but Ban going to find Crashies. Okay. The HP a little low, yes. Damage trying to come through. Just trying to hold on in this pit. Being surrounded, chipped away at Carpe, takes a step through. Isolating Som is perfect, but can he find the final 2 here? Carpe trying to slip around a little here. This could be everything. He couldn't quite adjust towards Victor, but he's made it doable. He's made it possible, but the paint shell's so good. He's taking him down so low. And Victor! Didn't even see him.
That is ridiculous from Victor. Goes absolutely huge for NRG to find them their 12th. Baited in perfectly.
Match point.
T1. This is going to be a hard game to look back on this map here. Now the money's pretty shoddy too. Operator still out. But this just hasn't felt like they've got this half at all.
No, I mean, look at the timeline here. It tells you exactly what you need to know. The last 4 rounds, all defusals for NRG. T1 burning everything up in terms of utility to get them into a post plant, and then they have nothing at their disposal.
Yep, NRG starting to outclass here, but it ain't over yet. Got a long way back though, and FNS gets away with his life. Still standing. Needs the res. Oh my god. Victor! How is he getting away with this sort of thing? I mean, this half has been black and white. NRG clear T1.
Cool, calm, and collected as well. Barely breaking a sweat there. You can see on the faces of NRG. T1, like I said, just lacking the ideas to really tie anything together. As well, this is just the story of First Bloods. In total, it was 7 First Bloods overall, same as the round count for T1, but the second half, time and time again, their inability to create openings, create opportunities for them to find comfort on the attacking side, and like I said, the synergy in terms of the utility available in this composition just wasn't there. There wasn't enough versatility to it.
No, it felt, as I said, NRG looked comfortable throughout that second half, and that's something you never want to be seeing because they get to play their own game plan. They don't get forced out of it. They, yeah, as I said, comfortable. First half felt completely different. The first half, you're like, okay, I love this. I love that they'll be able to deny these plants by so much time. This is great.
I'd be curious to know what actually is the catalyst to make this sort of change in the second half, because like I said, it looked so well composed, the timings were perfect. Again, Carpe and Zeta's ability to really mitigate damage on those A-site holds and wait out for the flanks to come through, the rotations to come through, and addressing the backline looked fantastic from T1. Second half, we didn't see any sort of examples like that.
And that scares me though, going into what, map 3. Now maybe not as out there, maybe the picks aren't going to be as quirky, but it does worry me that if NRG come in now feeling confident, playing their own game style, you know, a little bit of a reminder that they are the favoured team on paper by quite a decent margin. What does T1 have left to do with this?
Yeah, because T1 was stretched to the absolute limit on Pearl by EDG. Again, a very, very hard-fought victory, finally in overtime. say NRG gonna feel it like they've got back in control of this series slightly now, heading into Pearl.
Yeah, it does feel like NRG with a stark reminder of who they are. A little bit of a spark brought back to them, but map 3 is going to be everything. Pearl on the horizon. You do not want to miss that.
Have you ever asked yourself after a bad game, what am I missing? Or sought help from impatient friends? Or browsed desperately for answers that only bring up more questions? Your self-doubting days are over with Discovery, the first game-focused AI. Discovery is trained on the world's leading esports athletes to be your everyday personal coach. That's right, Discovery can help you improve your gameplay by giving you tips and strategies to take your game to the next level. Get started at aimlabs.com/discovery.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings. Feel it inside. Come on. 1, 2. 3, 4.
T1 thought they had NRG, but to quote one of the greatest poets of our time, Vin Diesel, you never had me and you never had your car. Welcome back, everyone, as we go to map 3. We have NRG T1. And look, I fit a fast reference in a broadcast.
You know, Vince,
I know, Vin.
Is there a problem,
we're in Japan. Why are you talking about cars?
Is there a problem? Actually, Japan car culture is quite goated.
And Tokyo Drift and Ski
And also, Initial D. How dare you, man?
Speaking of people who are drifting and are really good, Victor, his raise was fantastic in that match. His satchel movement continues to be like world class.
Jump into it. Let's talk about it. Victor had a game. Victor has been having a series so far, and it's quite fascinating that the series layout has played out the way it has, because we haven't seen artists in these high impact roles. It's been Victor, but he has been bringing it, Mimi.
He absolutely has. Victor's consistency is wild when he gets to play on this raise role. It feels like since the dawn of time, when you put this man on this agent, on Vine, he will perform.
Yeah, and it's not only about the entry, it's about that initiation power. No. It's about staying alive for the later round and actually performing insane clutches, this double kills, the retakes from NRG. I think it was the most beautiful to see. And we had found a T1 that could only achieve 1 round on their entire attack.
And his utility usage is so intentional. It's saving the nade to be in a specific place for the retake. It's using the satchels to clear a close corner. It's all so well done from this guy. But from T1, it really did come down to an issue of that attack side. They really were able to pick up pretty much nothing throughout that entire half. NRG was consistently giving them a little bit of space and then pushing back in with a combination of a molly nade, a flash, and T1 were really struggling to contend with the pace of those reclears.
It reminded me a lot of the energy that we saw against Navi yesterday on Ascent, where every single retake was so beautiful that it was impossible to stop them.
Yeah, it really was, meticulous as we take a look at those retakes and discuss how this whole thing played out. I mean, it's just important to note here, right, that this is the bread and butter of NRG. They are a fantastic team in the retakes. They're a fantastic team on Vine. But I will say this much, though. Credit to T1 for at least trying some new ideas, even if, as Hypox said, they kind of ran out of options in the end.
Yeah, I think they did run out of ideas towards the end of that one. We're struggling. If you go aggressive in the post spikes, you're not going to be able to get anything done. If you're staying passive on site, you're going to get ran over. And a lot of that is because of the way they play this Harbor Viper composition. They're saving that high tide to go up as they're pushing in, and they're also consistently funneling orbs into Som, so they have that reckoning, which is so powerful, especially for those B-side retakes. Without a comp like this, are very hard to do.
Yeah, he was getting fed, and he was very healthy that game and was able to really have impact on it. Great combinations, but that is Vine, and that takes us over to the underwater city of Pearl as we get ready for the decider between T1 and NRG. And now, obviously, Pearl has kind of become a little bit of a, the bog standard map for compositions, but I do want to see some unique ideas here implemented, especially considering, Mimi, the stakes that are, at hand here in this game.
The stakes are huge in this one. NRG are looking to find a rare, clean path out of the group stage instead of having another slow start. And for T1, this is their chance to finally make history, go from their first international win to their first international playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. And we have seen them on this map already against EDG. And Saya was not having a brilliant time, especially on those opening duos when he was on the attack. But we're getting a lot of Harbor here today.
Oh, yeah. Prime Gaming Agents select here. Pretty much what you would come to expect on this map.
It's no surprise. Harbor Viper versus Harbor Viper. This has been the meta for pretty much everyone here on Pearl. But what excites me most about this game is it's the first time this match we actually get a duelist head-to-head between Saya player and Artis. Artis has been flexed over to different roles across the first 2 maps, and now he gets to play on the role he's known for.
So now the question is Artis going to step up and give us the brilliant performance that we have been seeing from Victor? Is he going to be, that defining factor in the head-to-head that we highlighted at the beginning of the match, or is it going to fall flat?
Oh, we'll see. This third and final map decides which team heads to knockouts and which team has to fight for survival tomorrow. Here's Pansy and Hypoc for the cast.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to this one. Obviously going the distance this series now, making it to map 3, playoff spot on the line really is the big thing these two teams are fighting for. But we've seen a little bit of T1 as of late, right? We've seen them quite recently.
Yeah.
Where do you now put this? Because I know you alluded to it before we went to the break, but for those just tuning in, now we're on Pearl. Do we see the creativity side of T1 that look great? Do we see that composure from map 1? Do we see?
Well, I mean,
what do we see?
that's not what they relied on versus EDG, and I think they struggled massively. They managed to, I guess, scrape a win through is what it felt like. EDG definitely felt like they were the ones in the driving seat, but even regionally, there have been some concerns with T1's performances on Pearl in particular. Obviously, those 2 losses to DRX are the ones that stand out because Pearl doesn't really sit in DRX's wheelhouse in terms of, you know, the upper side of their map pool. So it's definitely be an interesting one. See NRG's previous appearance here that lost to Cloud9. I'm not sure T1 are going to be able to achieve the same sort of things. Artist digging very deep for this engagement though. Munchkin, a ton of damage done, but stays standing.
I've got to say it. As someone from EMEA casts that region, the vast majority of the time, I've missed watching Artist on a jet. That's always normally a treat. Let's see how he fares in this one. Crashies and Victor going to see a little deeper on the angle. I think that's going to have all the information though. Yeah, Artist called back in to try and handle this, and he does!
Oh,
3 big kills! Beautiful
ace?
work, saving his 2 teammates who'd pushed a little deeper towards CT. So what can Munchkin and Zeta achieve?
2v3 now. Snakebite sent in.
Don't know.
Som will have caught the information on the second as well. Crisp on the first headshot. Just Munchkin now, tagged up earlier on, 20 HP left, and a classic
I think nice play
in hand.
for Munchkin.
Nothing else to work with, and Crashies will seal the deal. NRG will find themselves the pistol round here on Pearl.
Time to NRG cooking this.
Beautiful,
I think
beautiful opener here from Ardis. Again,
the one
great setup
can
as well. 2 stacked up close here. Yes, Victor falls, but
strong again
Ardis there to bail out Crashies. He got
back.
stunned up by the Trailblazer, by the way. The clearance would have been pretty easy for T1 on the way back through. Very aggressive stance to take as well.
So we see that Marshall out for Sire player. Beyond that, it's just classic. So again, keep it clean. See how quickly Artist can build as well towards the knives. And poor old Munchkin, oh dear. I wouldn't go any further on that pathway. Yeah, it does dip away. Keeps itself alive, so again, not the worst outcome possible, but beyond that, NRG just testing the waters really, taking the tour.
Finesse hasn't been spotted out on the other side yet, but Sire posted up with the Marshall. Will be greeted by a few members of NRG here as they crest the corner. And no confirmation just yet, though. T1 have lent heavily towards A. Finally now, Ban rotating back across, but Sire has to go huge if anything is to happen here in this round. Ardis finds him, though.
Yep, chip damage on Ban as well. With that sort of control, they can get the plant down. B-side's theirs. It's going to be very hard for T1 to forge any path back through as well. 1 flash to play with. Yeah, Carpe's got a little bit of utility. But even with that in mind, what are you meant to do?
I don't even think NRG want to go fishing for these frags either. T1 probably just going to sit behind us and wait it out. With only classics in hand. Probably just going to give this up to the spike. Ashes with a ghost, yeah, maybe go and explore it. Try and find some progress towards the ultimate. Too much of it, and Som actually finds 2, but Fan responds. Try and protect both rifles though, yeah, Bulldog and Phantom carried across. Do you find the second?
Okay, 3 standing. Got what they need. As you highlighted, protecting those rifles. Now, this is when I want to start seeing T1 dictate the pace a little more. Kind of stop being told what the round's going to look like. Take some matters into their own hands, because I feel like they've been a passenger in the last, at least that last half on the second map, and now at the start here, but let's see what they come up with this time.
Munchkin actually donning the Odin here.
That's how you survive.
And a 4-play stack to maybe try and fish Finesse out of this position on B long. Finesse disengaging very quickly, actually. Not sure if there was any sound cues coming through. Munchkin just looking to commit to this span. Ardis takes a ton of damage. Still 71. Get topped off a little bit here with the regrowth.
He starts his exploration towards CT again. They've got the site that they want.
The awareness is there from T1, but again, it's that same 3-tiered setup here towards dugout.
No flash this time for Carpe, so it's got to be the dog. And Ardis gets caught here. Ban's gone down. Not sure how that happened, but oh dear. Yeah, follow-up as well. T1 held back. Unable to make anything of this. They have to back away and keep those weapons.
Finds a consolation, but this deep control once again, like I said, that 3-layered setup towards dugout pays off for NRG. I want to see the adjustment from T1 to take another look at how they want to defend A site. I don't know if in this round they're just expecting the bread and butter Pearl gameplay of run it down B long, but Munchkin, unless he's given, you know, potentially 1 or 2 kills here, with the spam from the Odin, this round is...
There's always going to be...
Yeah, they're playing from the back foot.
This, I need to see a little bit of a personality change here from T1. You can't let NRG just have their entire game plan against you. I don't know how you're meant to dissuade it now, but... The adjustments there, though, they've brought 2 additional players over towards the A side. The flash is going to be highly telling that this is a very different look. Carpe trying to, I guess, be the front man of this one. Does have side player by his side, so NRG given a different perspective here.
Looking a little more traditional in terms of the setup from T1. Munchkin will tuck in towards Link, but actually now repositioning back towards Halls here. So an Ardis does still have his dash, so he'll be able to create a little bit of space here. As NRG reset towards B long, the spam comes out. Munchkin will be noted at least here. And the weapon revealed as well.
It's getting more and more isolated. You can see the cutoff as well towards B-Link. Munchkin now living on borrowed time. It feels like an Ardis close the gap. Yes, he can. Okay. Bad tries to lean in a little early, and he's going to get 2 for himself. But the plant's now down, and they've got such a player advantage. It's just Sire player, and he's over by Ard. He's so far away. Once again, T1 being bulldozed here.
And Munchkin just isolated once again. A position where he can't have a say ahead of the execute, then nobody can drift ahead of Som's utility to try and bail him out. In these sorts of setups, you want to see Munchkin just completely abandon site, concede it, and commit towards a 5v5 retake, but I'm not sure if that gets lost in the comms or what. NRG, yeah, like I said, as soon as he's revealed, the game plan is there. Isolate him, pressure him, find the kill.
This worries me, Mike. I want to see an early timeout from T1. I mean, keep in mind, this problem feels like it's kind of poured in from that second half of the second map. They had that break, obviously, to go back after map 2 and kind of talk about what's coming in. There's the timeout, thankfully. I think this is just a big adjustment. These players look quiet. We've not seen much from Sire player yet. I think only 1 kill posted thus far. But it's not even that. It's approaching this game. It feels
they haven't
so
had a say in these rounds. It's not as if they've been able to. They haven't been able to get into a position to really, you know, define the outcome at all. NRG have had absolute freedom. Again, I think that's symbolized by how deep they're able to take control on these A-side post plants. That's just something that can't happen. I hate to say it. It's not down to Munchkin. Again, as the solo anchor, you don't want to see him committing to the engagement, but you give NRG a little bit of room to maneuver, and look what they do with it.
Oh, this is dreamy for them. They couldn't ask for a better half. I'm got to say, T1 haven't been in this game since that second half of the second map. It feels it's been a drought since that point. The gear that NRG have kicked into, fantastic, good to see, but I want to see a fight out of T1. I need to see a whole lot more than this. This is now getting to worrying territory. If they don't answer back in the next 3, I put a fork in it, it's done sort of deal. You know what I mean? This is scary times. Yes, it's caliber of player, it's experience as well. T1 don't have that depth in the same sort of way. But still, the first 2 maps looked so much better. How Lotus looked was great. I want to see a bit of that here. Need to see more than this. NRG not going to turn down this opportunity. You've got a weakened team against you who's not putting up that same sort of performance. Absolutely. Take it with both hands. But can T1 course correct now? What more can they bring to this matchup? As NRG look to at least posture towards B-Long early.
Versus EDG, it was Munchkin and Sire to put up massive numbers on the defensive half. And so far, barely a squeak. Munchkin playing way ahead of his utility here.
You love that.
Love to see it.
Decides
Had an inkling to drift back a little deeper. Obviously only a Sheriff in hand. It's not a massive issue in this round, but Trailblazer will clear the way. Flash through to mid as well from Carpe should indicate that this is fairly invested, fairly all in from NRG.
Yep, Artist comfortably going to take away the turret. See the site take in mind here from NRG. Have seen that flex down towards Pit and further towards CT as well. This time though, T1 do have bodies on the site. We do have the additional player towards Pit, that being Zeta. Little check towards Art, make sure nothing's going on. But actually the spike goes that way too, could cause a problem on the cross as Saya going to catch one, but he does get quickly traded. So once again, this kind of offset of timing.
30 seconds left.
Not particularly dissuading NRG. As T1 going to retake towards the site, and it's comfy. FNS and Artist all too prepared, all too ready. NRG not feeling any strain at all.
So light investment here from T1. Maybe trying to get ahead of the curve and prevent that spike from going down. First time NRG haven't had to rely on the spike being planted. Blade Storm online now for Ardis. And closer and closer to a couple of other ultimates. T1 Reckoning in hand for Ban, but it's 2 or 3 away from a couple of the others.
Okay, right place though. T1, they've got bodies here.
Out of my way.
Saya player wanting to fight. Nard is willing to give him it. 6 to 1 so far, it's clean. No trade potential, nothing to support him. Saya player out on an island.
I mean, he's isolated so easily by Som's utility. That's a free opener here for NRG. We'll be able to slow things down on the back of that first blood now. Wait out this first wave of util. Crash, he's probably going to clear things out with the Trailblazer here. Som might even invest the Reckoning behind it. Definitely now with Carpe showing his hand.
There you go, Sight looking very much on a platter here. Ardis, take a couple of steps, he's feeling it. NRG just, this is a bit of a shame to see it kind of whimper out like this so far. Zeta and Munchkin, I mean Munchkin's on the other side of the map. Zeta's not really had a say in this one. And NRG just outclassing T1 as it stands.
Yeah, not having a say in these rounds once again. Saya isolated, and after that, it's, I mean, a really awkward crossroads of, yeah, do we commit to the engagement ahead of the site here? Reckoning's thrown in, there's no value whatsoever on the back of it. Barely even slows NRG down because T1 don't have the numbers to flood behind that ultimate. Which is what you need to do with that ult, it's create chaos and take some space back, but it doesn't happen. And T1 now trailing by 6.
This is gonna break the hearts of T1 too. It's quite hard to watch it because it's all individual fights. It's all just dribs and drabs. Nothing working for T1 here. And yeah, I just noticed it now. Another timeout coming for T1 because they know this is do or die now.
Well, it's concerning because Bind obviously showed that they had an inability to really kind of innovate on the fly, right? Come up with some responses to NRG's approach to that second half, and already here, I mean, what you said, you give it another 3 rounds, you call it wraps. With what we've seen so far, it definitely feels that way. Like I said, we're only coming into round 7.
I think the thing for me is the way that we've got here. I would like, obviously, if we take it, you know, from an NRG perspective, they're doing exactly as prescribed. They are following the instructions to a T as to how to play this, but they've had no resistance.
Yeah, that's
nothing has dissuaded them.
Exactly.
We've seen a little bit of an aggression coming out from side play, for example. Let's take that, right? Throws it in. One, you noted it. The utility work alone coming out from who was it? Som? Just set up Ardis from the most favorable fight. There was never any threat to Ardis being traded, and if he goes down, it would have been, you know, as said, he decided to pull off a miracle. Following that, the ult gets used. There's no threat behind it. Ban invests the ult, there's no one there to make much of it, and they fall 1 by 1. Again, there hasn't been any resilience to NRG just having their way through this map. T1 need to wake their players up right now. This can't be how they go out of this. Again, this is a playoff spot on the line. This is that difference. This is that jump up of capability. You're seeing it here, and you're watching T1 crumble under that pressure.
T1's response looks like it might be to switch up Munchkin once again. Body stacked up towards the A side. NRG though, find a little bit of space to work with once again. Again, Fact Finder's coming out now through mid. Will be at the cost of a lot of progress made down B long.
I've got your trail.
Look for Munchkin to get the hell out of sight here and not fall ahead of this site here, and Crashies will find him.
There's another.
Side says nothing to disrupt the plan either. Get a little bit of heal up there. Yep.
Time to hunt.
And now, how do you look threatening? Well,
I mean, Crashies got a Trailblazer at a post plant.
yeah, that says enough, doesn't it? There's no threat on the way towards the site. And actually, even that Trailblazer going so deep knows that they've got so many more seconds to play with. Right, T1. Show me a little something here. Sai's got full kit from Jet. Maybe able to get into it, but not finding a body to try and take down here. Crashies just staying alive behind the utility. NRG, unfazed so far. T1 just trying to make it look intimidating, but there's no threat behind it. They're backing away. They find nothing.
At this point, yeah, they don't want to feed across the ult progress. This one's all but done. Crashies will be spotted here. Carpe still falls.
Come on. Nothing's going right for him. Nothing.
Nah.
There's no more timeouts either. There's no more conversations with coach. There's just facing the music. And sometimes there are better teams than you. Sometimes it's a horrifically strong reminder. Again, coming out of APAC, yes, T1, kind of that third place team, did very well in a couple of, the deeper runs there, looking like the team that could do some, a little bit of damage here, picking a map here and there. But then you face an NRG, you face a team who does have that deep run potential, who has that caliber to their name.
Depth is the word I come back to.
It's there.
Twice now in this series, across two different maps. We're seeing two very similar examples. NRG's just in total control. So much freedom. You can see T1 is just so hesitant, apprehensive to push a little deeper here and try and deny this space to NRG. Pick goes down, Plant's going to come in.
I love that Crashies got a little interested there to try and go a little bit further. This time, though, Ban's found Artis. Okay, so first real time we've seen a threat being made of any sort of round. But yeah, the Viper's bit ain't pretty when you got shorties everywhere. Garfe takes down Crashies. Som, only gonna get one. Here we go. Maybe there's some life in them yet. Maybe this is the...
He's got another snake bite, though.
Fluff that reignites the fire, but can anyone close in? Yes, Munchkin. Well done. Finally, they get around. Finally.
Carpe, I think, able to find 2 kills with the Sheriff inside the pit there, and like you said, there was Shorty stacked up. Artis, unfortunately, falls to a wallbang. Again, it's just so chaotic, though. What are the tangibles that T1 latched onto? In terms of that round victory, it gets them on the board, yes, but can they build upon it?
I got money. Need something?
All right, do it again. Got a lockdown. We got Seekers.
Well, T1 finally hitting it what feels like a complete ult cycle here.
Yeah.
One off the Blade Storm, one off the pit as well. So in a position to potentially make this backstretch of rounds interesting here. Sire player tucked up in art. First time Victor's really going to challenge his position.
I think they had contact in last round, but no commitment behind it. That time there's a commitment. Side player wins it. That's perfect. Again, man advantage. Follow-up found. Artis goes down. This is the T1 we need to be seeing. Where's that next layer of threat going to come from? Finesse Fantasy Gods wins the fight too. Side player going to fall. Okay, bring it back down to a 4v3 now.
A pause for thought here. I think Crash is going to head across and heal Finesse. We pull out the pit from Zeta. Try and secure a site here as Munchkin's still got his setup, still got a lockdown to commit as well if it all goes wrong for him. NRG probably going to try and find the space here through double doors. So when, or where Carpe is actually going to invest this flash.
Slow
30
progress being
seconds
made
left.
down B-Link. You've got 2 more players waiting on the site. That setup is going to be a nuisance. Contact made. bumpier stuff as they'd like, and there's that lockdown. And there's the swing. Carpe, good timing, and the follow-up flash. Perfect work from Munchkin as well. T1, there it is. Not out of it yet.
Potentially need another 2 rounds like that to chip away at the finances of NRG. Still got a couple of ultimates to work with. Required a fair amount of investment in terms of the pit and the lockdown on these defensive rounds for T1. We'll force the timeout at least. NRG, I'm going to say, it's not as if it's a misstep here. They're starting to explore the map elsewhere. Ardis unfortunately caught off guard with a wall bang in the previous, now a blind spam into a smoke, I believe. So these are curveballs that T1 haven't necessarily achieved so far in this half that have amounted to round wins, though.
Yeah, you take them when you get them, especially when you've had none of them before. But you're right. But again, for NRG, they still have another timeout to burn if they feel they need it on the second half anyway. I don't mind it as like a check-in. Maybe something that Jet's seen that they feel like they could just at least tweak up a little bit here so they don't run into a little bit of a flat point. Don't mind it at all. But this is given a chance, right? This is given a little bit of an opportunity to at least close the gap. Now, NRG, obviously, they're going to be on 7 regardless, but it's what's T1 get, really? Do they manage to close in the gap? Does NRG kind of pick back up where they left off? Nice purchase coming out for T1, though. Got to see that operator, Sire player, going to get the chance to bring that through. What does NRG lean back to? They go back to this B piece? That worked quite well sometimes, but it looks like maybe even T1 are considering that too. So lots of consideration here. Lots to be looked at, and I want to see Sire player shine a little in this one. Lovely to see him have a game. Noting here, Munchkin going to be littering the ground with that setup over towards A. Going to have the support as well from Zeta, but that's about it. It's a 3-play stack towards B long. And NRG willing to meet this as well.
Now with the operator in hand, can T1 string something together?
Okay, they've got a note players pushed up now. Very, very telling. How much play does Sire get on this one? Ball goes up, NRG looking to try and dismantle this aggressive stance. Sire player with a chance, and it just dwindles. Didn't connect on the shot, and he has to respect it now.
Bit of spam comes through. Ardis will be healed up. He will pause behind this. Trailblazer won't find anything. An unorthodox wall here from T1 to try and deny some of this space behind Pillar, but Sire player is getting curious once again.
Oh no, that's so many players on the other side of this though. He's being spammed out! He must have been seen there's a ping towards it. They must have known something was up because NRG now burst towards the site. It's Bam on the back trying to hold them. Trying to keep them away from the site and keep numbers! He's done more than that! Takes down Victor, takes down Crashies, and he's still trying to isolate. Squats out Finesse, he's wanting more, and he's getting more! The final victim on the other side, spotting out Som. Ban is desperate for this, he'll give it over to Carpe. And at this point, you'll take the round.
Well, this is after NRG get a freebie, I guess, on Sire being spotted. Like you said, the ping comes through, so...
Don't know how.
It's 3 people spamming towards that position. But the difference being here, finally, this 3-man hold towards B site actually pays off for T1. Previously, it's Munchkin isolated, punished time and time again, and T1 left cowering behind the utility of NRG. 3 on the board.
It's huge. It's given them. It's a small chance, but it is a chance.
We're talking about the finances as well. Actually, only another round away from removing this massive advantage that NRG had.
But look at NRG exploiting these adjustments. You're bringing that 3rd man towards a B early on. Well, sure, where are you going to take him from? Middle. Cool, we'll take that. They have literally just taken over the middle of the map, so any rotation is going to feel horrific. So if maybe they pressure on that A extremity, they do this, it's going to cost them so much.
The read is perfect that T1 will now shift the reliance onto that 3-man stack on B. Find the space, but let's just convert to a plant.
Munchkin getting close. He gets, well, dealt a terrible hand. Ardis all too ready for it. Crash is starting to take towards the side. Plant going to come in. Now you may note it as well, Zeta is still here towards Pit. You have Ban as well, playing towards Secret. Lockdown invested too.
We up a lot of time here, and NRG taking the space elsewhere. Sire's got to be careful. Ban's found a kill onto Victor. Oh, timing's awful though, Som will fall.
It's game back on. 4v3, make it a 4v2. Ban is activating. There's Crashies and FNS. Got so many targets to get through. Make it just Crashies. I don't think he's got the time on this one, but he's doing the best he can. That's only towards halfway. Still an opportunity, and it goes. Carpe's there, Diffuse comes in. T1 are back in the game.
The plant comes through, so I think NRG's purchase will be protected here. Won't be any gaps in utility. Somehow, some way, there's a chance we close out this half at 7-5. Like I said, a couple of these, I don't want to say 50-50s or coin flips, now going in favor of T1, which was completely absent in that first stretch of rounds. Just nothing was coming off for them.
Yeah, the activation of ban is massive. 13-5. Starting to come online here. Sitting anti-flash with the operator with Sire Player, goes back in. Oh, it's quick as lightning! Sire Player falls away. And that's Crashies removed. So much of that ease of access to the site now gets taken out of NRG's hands.
Get out of my way.
For Desno, trying to find space on the other side of the map. A little bit more proactive. We did see this early on in the half, but Munchkin's utility is going to be there to spot things out. Don't think he's sure.
No, I was wondering if Sire Player was...
Well, there is a ping, actually. A ping comes through on the minimap.
Okay, definitely noted something. There's that look. Oh, FNS just gets backhanded, down to 23.
He catches the headshot through the wall here as NRG try and find this rotation. It's drawn all of T1 over already. Gonna leave Sire to anchor with that operator.
Oh, Munchkin just drifting in the open. But as you highlighted, the cavalry had arrived. Right, the spoils here, and Ban, the man of the hour who started to come alive for T1, has made it to the site. The spike goes down, and the last player standing will be Artis. A 1v4 for him. 19 seconds on a hope in hell. 5-7. We finally have a game on our hands now.
What a recovery from T1. To bring this back to a position where it's only a 2-round deficit. Absolute miracle workers here. He said Ban the one to really make this a possibility.
One enemy remaining.
Very top-heavy scoreboard on the side of T1.
This is an incredibly close game now, and 2 streaks of rounds. Who knows what the mental's gonna be like for these two teams? All I do know is the desk is waiting down.
Thank you so much for that. And Kakuka, it was very obvious that one of the things that we were missing at the start of this was, honestly, the guns from T1. They weren't finding the shots, they weren't finding what they needed, but they managed to rally back in a very big way.
We were getting ready to probably the first 13-0 here after how close every single matchup has been. And then, what happened? They just appeared again. We of course have to highlight the first rounds from NRG, just playing the basics of this comp. I don't think that they were going too deep into doing something crazy. They were just very consistent and very confident on their steps.
Yeah, it was very fundamental from NRG, just going for a lot of these straight-up settings. They were finding some good gaps in these late rounds, and T1 looked boomed. You could see the faces of the players on the stage. They looked out of it, but then it was a couple little plays like Ban's 4K that started to be the catalyst to get them back in, and sometimes that's all it takes. Just one round, one moment that you can rally behind to start to believe you have a chance again, and they pulled so much momentum off of that. Now 5 rounds in a row as we switch sides.
That came off of a NRG timeout, so you know that that also had to have boomed the NRG side as well, when you would think that maybe there was going to be an opportunity for them to try and get back into this one. But as we get ready for this next half, Kakuka, curious to see how T1 tries to get in this, because all they need at this point to tie is the pistol and the next.
Yeah, exactly. And as we can see now in the graphic, the attack win percentage is not that high up. Definitely they still have a hill to climb on this second half. Is not going to be easy, but already having the mental resilience to come back from an 0-7 says a lot about this squad.
It's impressive thus far, but T1 need to shore up an issue they had last map, which was their post buns. They generally struggle with that here on Pearl as well, and one of NRG's strengths with this composition is flooding back in with the hard wall up. Their protocols on it are excellent. T1 needs to keep this momentum.
Yeah, we know the pieces are there, but can they put it together to close it out, or will it be NRG's day? We're gonna find out in just a moment. Let's send it back over to Pansy and Hypoc.
Thank you, yeah, 5 in a row for T1. Bringing this game back to touching distance because I thought this was gonna be a blowout, Mike. I thought this one was wraps. The mental looked absolutely shattered as T1 were unable to make any semblance of damage. And a flip was switched. I don't know how they did it, but they certainly did.
And the concern being really is T1 struggling the other day versus EDG. I think they managed 3 first bloods on their attacking half. They were constantly playing from a deficit. Have to hold that fort for the time being, because it might be a brawl here outside pillar. Saya gonna open things up. Finesse fall. Carpe doubles down though.
Yeah, Crash, he's caught with his hands full here. Ardiski, he got it swing. He has nowhere to go. There's Storm enough to catch the cross. You gotta go huge. He's got 2. That may not be enough, leaving Victor with it all to do.
The clutch man.
Victor with a classic. I mean, there's a real chance on this. Hold on. All right, show me what you got here. Side player looks unaware of the chance, but he snapped back real quick.
Pistol on the board, a chance to tie things up off the rip here in the second half. NRG looking to be a little bit proactive here in the pistol, and it's punished. See if that trend does continue. If they feed into it, well, potentially giving T1 a little momentum booster here in the second half.
1 enemy remaining.
Momentum, name of the game. Can they keep it clean though? Can they try and find some real confidence off a round like this? Just Eco Cobra it out. Gonna hear that Marshall rattle off a couple of shots.
And this is the man you want to see get some of those Eco Cobra frags. Saya,
True.
A very rough first half. Get some early progress here towards the Blade Storm. Could be the catalyst here for T1.
Gotta be careful of this stack though. As it stands, all 5 players are here from NRG.
Careful.
Slow and cautious progress being made by T1. Side player trying to keep track of all of this. And it is go time now. How much danger? Oh, come on! They haven't seen him! They haven't seen him at all! And now the reveal. What can NRG do? That's what they can do! Oh, this rips away 2 of the players. Zeta and Carpe left in tatters on the floor. And Artist, the last man alive with 13 HP. How lucky is he feeling? Not very. They made a little bit of a problem out of that round, Mike, but it wasn't enough to do much more than that.
Yeah, draw some blood. It's 2 Bulldogs saved across from this. Obviously the Marshall coming in, a pistol as well. A lot of artist love actually with the...
You know, he deserves
yeah, no, I'm fine with it, yeah.
He deserves it. We didn't give him enough love in
pictures.
him yet. Could have picked maybe some better ones. You're not who am I to judge?
T1 will throw a couple of stingers back in here. Try and protect the purchase here in the bonus. Good progress already, actually, for Ban. Towards the Reckoning. T1 looking to continue the trend here. Big long pressure early on.
Yep. They look like they're committed behind us too, yeah. Away they go. Let's see how Sire player gets on, how he fares. Just going to slip through towards CT, apparently. Dips back in, though, has a second glance, and now he falls. It's only Munchkin to really do any damage so far as Ban. Oh, taking down his own teammate if he could. In a 3v4, though. Victor watching that cross out. Carpe pinned in, swings out, isolates. Ban! Beautiful! Victor shredding T1. And Munchkin a little late to the party here. Yeah, put to bed. Crashies. Keeps cool. NRG take back control of this series.
4 left standing as well. Obviously, we know T1 protected the purchase here, so... Actually, Saya down at 3100. Didn't even spot that in the previous, so we'll only have the Guardian to work with. No Blade Storm available just yet. Saya just chomping at the bit, desperate to find an engagement, but NRG... Damage limitation being key here. Saya not given a chance to really have a say in that round. T1 continuing though, again stacked up outside B long.
They're going back to it. Spray comes in. Somehow
I'm not sure where are those shots
where?
are going, but
how are both players standing? No problem. They're going to force the utility to be invested a little earlier on. Still a question mark maybe towards the back of the screen there. Could be playing to find that wall, but there's that early progress of the ult you noted with Bam, so that should be able to kind of help them out towards the site. Take plenty of bodies on the site, though. Artist's going to get one on the way. Zeta goes down. They're still trying to be a nuisance, still be a problem. Play to the madness of this, but they're not committing with that spike.
And NRG able to actually deny the plant as well. With the ultimate being reinvested here, will clear out a lot of the space, and T1 will be left licking their wounds as they retreat away. Leave Munchkin posted up, but again with an alarm bot here, there's a chance he's still going to be neutered a little bit in terms of his ability to lurk through.
Now the pinch will come down.
30 seconds left.
FNS, the one to maybe feel the brunt of it, does have the turret there though as well. That's given taken care of. Trying to bolster himself as best he can towards this. The timing on the crunch is everything. Munchkin, that's not it. Outdone, and now suddenly they've got a little bit of room to fall towards. Over towards long for NRG. The cross going to be watched, going to be punished. Perfect, FNS. No access to the site now. Nice pivot from T1, but it went nowhere.
Beautiful adjustment here with the poison orb. Finesse and Victor then stack up, commit towards this crossfire on long, isolate Munchkin, and regain control. Oh, this actually finds a blind kill. I said the timing of the investment, or the reinvestment I should say, when Som actually gets closer towards B site, it denies the plant. And even then the Trailblazer clears inside the cove. There's lots of information gathered by NRG that allows them to play that perfectly.
It looks like a brawl. Sheriff, so all the T1 can really claim. That's going to do well, but the rest of NRG clearing up. The two players from T1.
What a beautiful snake bite from Finesse, by the way. Lands perfectly here at the choke point and allows NRG to find these kills. Munchkin slipping through. We'll find a response, but 2v3. And Spike firmly in control of NRG.
Here. Does fall a great deal towards Munchkin's capability to do something with this. That flash is going to really sell out Zeta. It looks like Munchkin's going to try and join him potentially. So many bodies on the other side of this though. Far better equipped.
Yeah, they're close. They're close. Zeta catching a little bit of a jump scare there. Yeah, I haven't actually spotted Finesse sending that snake bite previously, but no, it's just a perfect read here after not much success on B long. Anticipating here, but it definitely makes the anti-eco a little more comfortable.
Will we get it again? We'll see. He actually might get it again, I wonder. Flash there, T1, going to work on forward. NRG this time actually rescind back, not going to take the challenge on this one with the buy beside T1. This is a key round for T1 if they want to try and keep into this matchup. NRG doing what they need to get to those double digits.
They have Lockdown and Seekers to potentially clear out a lot of space on A here. After the initial pump, Ardis might be greeted outside Art. There's a chance to isolate Zeta, but that has now passed. We have a couple more members of T1 staring him down. Yeah, T1 looking to pinch behind this Lockdown.
He's got to overdo this, and he ain't going to do anything. Sire player, great work. Art now available, they can access towards the site. Crash is just trying to spam away. Does catch Munchkin with a little bit of damage, but the site should be theirs. Let's see if NRG play back in. They do a little. Some getting closer. Tap on the spike. Seek's going to come through. Note the player very, very close by. One towards Pit. Counter Lockdown.
Forced out. We'll force them back to main and a little deeper in Art. Finesse also positioned here outside connector. It's taking NRG a little while to take the space. One detained here. Finesse, can he find it?
FNS is close by. There's a support system. Carpe there to defend Sire player. And now Crash is trying to find one towards what?
What is that?
Man, nasty with it there, finding both players. And it's just Som left alive now. So much to do, and he ain't going to be able to do it. T1 make it through the round. 4 alive, closing back in on this gap.
Again, key that 4 are left standing here. Gives them a chance to solidify their position in terms of the finances as well. NRG, full repurchase forced. Beautiful stuff from Carpe as well to bail out Sire player there after being detained. But back within touching distance here. 2 rounds separate them.
I see Ardis, I see Operator, I also see T1 going that way.
Yeah.
I get excited. Don't underwhelm me, Ardis. I've missed watching your games. Let's see what you got here. 13 to 10, make it 14! Zeta goes, as does Ardis. Dips away, doesn't want to outstay his welcome. The rest of T1 starting to pressure towards the side a little more, trying to work around that ult. Ardis not fully falling away from this just yet, forced to respect a little, but not a lot. Shorty on the other side. Site now being taken, Victor going to be isolated, can't be helped out here. Wall's in the way, Carpe's the one to get him. Back down to a 4v4 now.
Come back through. Crashes does have the Seekers, a flash available as well. Invested here. Do you want to get back on site as quickly as possible? It doesn't clear too much space.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't give the full picture here. Ardis want to take those next couple of steps. He has to go in unison, though. Carpe waiting. Sire delivering. That's Ardis gone. He got crashes too. Oh! Sire player! What a time to come alive!
Completely blind on the second there. Beautiful stuff. And immediately, NRG going to call a timeout on the back of this. T1 starting to make him sweat here.
Flash. Nice surprise we see another one in the feed.
Big round from Sire. Talked about him having a quiet first half. Starting to find his footing a little bit here, Lawrence.
Needed that. I mean, Ban's leading by a country mile. The guy's on 21 to 9. Huge influence. Not just in this half, but that first half. He was the one that brought them those couple of rounds that got them back in this game. And now we look towards Sire player. Is this when he starts finding that hot hand here as well? Because those two with a 1-2 punch, right? They look good in the last game. They need a lot of that to come through here.
It was noted, it was actually Sire that, obviously we're talking about the first blood versus EDG.
Yeah.
Constantly T1 were having to play from behind, conceding a first blood and having to equalize. Actually in mid-round, it was very rare in an early round trade. We were talking about versus EDG, their inability to force Kang deeper on the operator, you know, the lack of focus around utility in the early round. Yes, it's stylistically a very different game here from NRG, but T1 now showing that they have that in their wheelhouse, the ability to do it once again.
I'm so glad they woke the hell up, Mike. I was so worried they'd go with such a whimper into map 3. I'll take this. Even if T1 lose from now on out, I don't care. They've had a little bit of something brought back into this matchup, and NRG forced into that timeout, clearly feeling that stress. Feeling like they didn't have all the answers. For now, it starts with map control. Over towards 8, all gathered. And looks like they're going to leave Ardis up here for a second.
Yeah, Munchkin's on the other side of it. Seemingly no awareness on either side. Well, a rare miss from Ardis. Has to try and get the head out of there. He scored! Munchkin found 2!
He doubles down on it, Munchkin is out of his mind! Catching crashes is everything! You'd almost cut your losses at Ardis, but the find on the second is unforgivable. Devastating impact. And now you look at it, the bigger picture too. Evan is still on a stinger. I mean, he's trying to take some space towards long. He has no idea what's waiting on the other side. There's 4 players up here. He's walking into the den. Zero awareness of it. Tried to do a bit of damage on their shore, but it was never going to be enough. And now down to Victor and Som. Good luck.
Som's obviously very disconnected from this. Is he leaning towards saving that operator?
Surely.
Can Victor go clutch once again for NRG? No, he can't. Only Carpe claimed here. Som probably heading back towards picking that operator up.
There it is, get it and go. This is going to be 10 apiece. We've got a game on our hands. I didn't think
Munchkin, man. What an opener.
The first, I'm like, cool, yeah, that's kind of sick tracking. He caught Ardis, you know, is he updrafting and trying to get out of there. The second?
Yeah, because I think Ardis maybe caught off guard, whiffs the shot, but then also whiffs the cloud burst. It goes way off to the wall.
Yeah.
Doesn't give him any safety to dash into, which is why he's forced into the updraft as well. A little bit flustered there on the retreat.
I want to see that from Munchkin's POV as well.
For the player cam. Yeah. Oh, looking to maybe try and pressure this operator. Ban on the other side of things. Not much time left to try and find it. Again, they've got the funds to support this. Find the first.
And you're down. That's prize possession lost there.
Big denial, actually, because NRG are going to feel the pinch.
I mean, T1 is something like 7.7k on side play. He's loving it.
Even here, somebody throw Carpe a couple of pennies. It's not a 1k, but beautiful stuff. What an opener.
That's massive. Yeah, state of the economy for NRG. You can see why they desperately wanted that operator, Mike. They're left with nothing.
Stacked up here towards Pillar. No resistance early on here from NRG. Oh, Crash is going to have some utility sent his way.
A lot of players here. Som, one to punch ban. Som finding a second. Gonna need a lot more though. Down on 5 HP here. Forcing the hand a little. T1 not having the easiest of times.
Do have the Reckoning to pressure this pit a little bit, but Artist down to 20 HP, Som down to 5. Crashes has fallen, so no heal available. Munchkin could get caught off here.
This is so dangerous. This is so terrifying. FNS is there. Munchkin's gone. It's basically on Zeta here. The only one sitting pretty. He's doing everything he can. NRG, come on, Zeta. What a round.
And NRG try it again. They're so good at flooding these Vipers pits.
True, it's true.
This time around, Zeta pulls out an ace to secure this one. To find T1, they're 11th.
And credit to NRG for even being that threatening. Their buy this round was garbage. It was Guardians, Frenzies, odds and ends. But the pressure was on for Zeta. It was only the two of them left standing. His teammate was down to nothing that final one. Woo!
Insane stuff. Artist though, operator in hand once again. This time around, Sayak going to try and face off against it with an op of his own. Oh! This finds it! Just a pixel exposed.
Artist quite good at this game. Band's gonna try and pick up the mantle. That's a tag towards Carpe too, down to 52. Next angle, adopted. Oh, Artist, you barely see him. You barely see him. He's just a phantom out here. There's another glance. He's basically controlled the side. This round looks wraps just on the back of him. What else are you meant to do?
Munchkin trying to find some space elsewhere, but much looser hold here from Som. Was happy to concede this space. Finesse on the hunt though. And Som will reveal himself, I guess, for a deep position here with what looked like a desk pop.
Okay, so I'm going to watch that cross. Do they have anything to get them across safely? I mean, 2 flashes.
30 seconds left.
Oh.
Oh.
I think he's there.
Yes.
Well, the round has gone from possible to less than. Like was in hand, and FNS is there. Yeah, lovely. Start to end there though. That started with Artist, and in some fine fashion, even you were surprised at that pixel that he had spotted there. I think we've got a replay of this too. Let's have a little look at this one. Come on. Come on.
The adjustment is beautiful. I said here, Ban, didn't even see him.
Yep.
Didn't even see him. So T1 comfortable in the purchase here, but not, well, yeah, not massive stacks behind this though. No gaps in util. Blade Storm available, but it's the only ultimate on the board here.
Let's try and test Artist again though. He will be seen. He's respecting it enough to fall away a little deeper to that next angle, the one that caught Ban off guard. Even further back from that now. There's a Reckoning's going to come in. How long does he stick around on this? He's staying in this position. Sire player got to be careful too now. Into the blender. Barely breathing on 8 HP. Going to get a little bit of a heal up. Unfortunately for him, NRG. Hold on, up and above we go. Artist wants his name up in lights, apparently. It's Sire player to fall off the back of that. There's a long, old flank on the way as well. T1 going to feel surrounded pretty soon. Artist misses, Zeta wins out. And now they give themselves a little bit of pocket of safety to play in.
The awareness here of where was the flank. Do they prioritize squad? Do they push deeper? Carpe's going to find one. Victor, he will find the trade though. He finds a second.
They had to have won that fight against Victor, otherwise now there's problems. It's a 3v2. Zeta's still alive though, Munchkin's still there. Tap on the spike, but he gives nothing away. FNS, so heads up. And now Munchkin, he's got to play the time just right here. Crash is trying to defend. FNS, he goes for it. The defuse is through. NRG make it to 12.
Total faith in his teammate there. Finesse sticking the defuse. A T1 unable to make the right decision in such a high pressure situation.
I even like the idea, but it's just like they couldn't get that fight on Victor.
It's Victor on the other side of it though.
He knew that he was the target.
Yep.
He knew that that was where they wanted to be. Once that crunch comes in, once they felt that pressure, they had to fight back somewhere. And Victor's just playing so perfectly in that. 11 to 12 though, we ain't out of it yet. There's still a buy in this one. T1. It's OT or it's GG.
Are they
gotta do something?
Are they destined to see another overtime here on Pearl? Getting forced down now with 2 Bulldogs in the inventory. Do have the Seekers available, but this Munchkin's lockdown is the next objective here. If they can secure orb control here. NRG switching things up though. Look at this.
4-man walk middle. I don't believe what I'm seeing. The timing on Windows ban check. Ban's having a look back here. He's just looked away. He's no idea they slipped through. Oh, the timing! Oh, he's made it! Oh, no! Heartbreak for Ban! He's absolutely fumbled in the hour of need. Perfectly positioned for it. They're not out of it yet, though. There's still a chance, but that could have been everything.
Munchkin does get the lockdown off this, but again, with no progress, Zeta has been sat at the top of B-Long here. Sire, a little bit disconnected. And a defensive lockdown comes through. 30 seconds left on the clock. Will prevent the plant from coming through, and counter lockdown invested to maybe catch the backside of this. Sire finds Crashies. Still doable here.
He's giving them a chance here. Lockdown just going to tick through now. Next couple of seconds. Can they get the plant safely? It looks like Victor wants to try and deny. Munchkin, he's got it down. Okay, get out of there. Into the post plant now. 3v3. Artist still standing. Som still alive. And Victor is there. And when Artist stands, he delivers. Diffuse started. Who can stop him? Anyone. They've got to try and get him off. Som's not stopping until now. Forced to relinquish that diffuse for a second. A 3v2 though. Munchkin and Zeta's still desperately trying to pressure this. NRG now standing in numbers. Another tap on the spike. Som takes down Zeta. It's all on Munchkin. He tried his best, but it was never going to be enough. NRG 13 to 11.
What a way to close things out. Talking about an operator in the hands of Can causing problems for T1 last time. Ardis repeating that same trend here. But take your hats off to T1. They claw their way back into this map, but they just can't close out.
Let's go, NRG! T1 is good, but nice try.
T1 waking up late.
Hopefully T1 can win to pay off from lower backup.
At the start, but then ending up at 11 to 13.
Hey, bear in mind it was 7-0
after mid of Navi or EDG
like
again.
A lifetime ago. Ardis and Sire player though, what a head-to-head in this final map here. And NRG close out another 2-1 to book their ticket to the playoffs. Blood is drawn, yes, but they seal the objective.
Yeah, getting pushed here today, but man, stepping up to the challenge. Some real heater rounds coming through as well, some key moments there. I mean, same to be said though, T1, considering they're that 3rd place team coming into this, they have over-delivered to many people's expectations, and they're obviously not out of it yet. But what a great performance from them to bring us this caliber of game like this. I'm thoroughly impressed with them.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of concerns, sure, I guess in terms of the depth, but again, you take it with a pinch of salt in terms of the international experience that this roster has. Again, there are still lots of accolades they're waiting to achieve. See, not out of the competition either. They still have a chance to go away and obviously take some learnings from this. Again, the one that sticks out to me, that bind composition is tried and tested, but I don't know if it's a confidence thing, if they're a little bit shook that it's NRG on the other side of it. Just didn't see the depth there.
And the thing is that you see that potential, though, don't you? You see that
Absolutely, yeah.
And you're right. Imagine that second half had maybe been a little bit closer there. They came with some more confidence to map 3. It could have been a totally different picture. But again, a young roster. Still, yes, some experienced players, but there's new blood into that they need to try and acclimatize towards this. But yeah, Saya player, what a round there as well. Love seeing that.
What a
Data as well. I mean,
series from him once again. Saya's been fantastic, and yes, he is the headline, but also just behind that, Munchkin, Zeta, Carpe, and Ban all stepping up. Ban on this last map made this doable, period. That first half performance made this doable for T1.
He finished topping out the game as well, 22. Now, obviously, in his mind, I'm sure he's going to be heartbroken after how that went down in that final round. When he called that flank timing, I'm sure that's going to haunt him, but they wouldn't even been in this position if it wasn't for his earlier performance as well. He played out of, he played his heart out. I can't deny him a thing for that. But NRG proving they still have that depth, they have that capability, they have the reputation for a reason. These guys are absolutely the real deal and still are. And they deserve to be in the playoffs, Mike. That has to be it. I want to see how far this team can go. Pressed here, pushed here, but succeeding, sending T1 away, and NRG moving straight on through to those playoffs.
I'm tripping through the darkness on my own. Will I find my voice, trust my choice? I try to keep my head afloat and my eyes open. Should I chase my fears and face the fall below? My soul is letting go. If I search but cannot find, my
were shining bright for both NRG and T1, and they delivered. What a match we just saw between two teams that wanted it more than they could breathe. And unfortunately for T1, it's NRG's day, but we will most definitely see T1 down the line here. And what an incredible match we just witnessed.
It felt like every map of that series was defined by something different. The first one in Lotus was about back and forth adaptations. The second one was about the retakes, and then NRG being so good at adapting in the mid round. And then this map was just chaos. It started 7 rounds in a row for NRG, and then it was 7 rounds in a row for T1. And then they just traded back and forth, having moments of insane individual brilliance for NRG to eventually close it.
I have to say, not only this has probably been my favorite match so far, I do not remember the last time that I enjoyed a Pearl map like this. It's rare. The performances we were seeing, artists coming back alive. We were talking at the beginning of the day, the Saya versus Artist that we were finally going to see at the end of it, and here Artist, I think that he just won when it mattered the most.
He did, and it's so heartbreaking for T1 because they pushed this team so close. They were just a few rounds away from being that first squad in playoffs
OT.
from this group.
We deserved OT.
We did, and again, it's this team, it's these players having an opportunity ripped away from them, from the core of energy. For Saya, he felt that heartbreak at Reykjavik. He's feeling it now again going to the lower bracket. Yeah. They do look good enough to make it through in that lower bracket, but it really is a heartbreak.
Oh yeah, they most definitely look like a contender. Of course, that means though that NRG will be moving on to the playoffs, but it does bring us over to our Verizon high-speed moment of the match, because we got to give some flowers here to the boy Saya player. My guy with this ace was just unbelievable, or sorry, 4K, regardless, should have been an ace, was so incredible, Kukuka. Yep. But also, it's just great to see this player, who you and I have been following for a very long time, really begin to find his footing here in Valorant.
Yeah, exactly. I think so many rounds were flashy like this one, the 4Ks, the ace as well. I'm loving to see it, of course. You know, it's the kind of kill when you're blinded that just happens in your ranked, and now it happens in the server, and NRG was just on the receiving end. It just happens sometimes.
Just the individual plays, man. Well, we had a hard time picking what we wanted for the sponsorship segment, okay? That's how insane all of the plays were. Amazing stuff there, but I believe if I'm looking over, yep, she's ready to go, so we're ready to go too. Let's actually send it over to Yintu, standing by with Crashies for the Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you very much. Golden Boy and the Des. That's right, I'm joined by Crashies from NRG. First of all, congratulations. I gotta ask though, the clutching from you has always been good. We know this, but this tournament, the last couple of days, it's kind of been insane. How do you do it? How do you keep so cold?
I don't know. It's just it's in the blood, honestly. Ice in the veins. Shout out to Marv for that one. But yeah, I mean, took a page out of his book, and yeah, it just feels so natural.
I mean, you're fully getting the rounds for your team. But I will say, are you a little bit concerned at all that you are really relying on the individual brilliances of yourself and artists and so on having to make those clutches?
Yeah, we definitely played super sloppy today, in my opinion. And I mean, heroics were definitely pulled out today as well. And obviously, we don't ever want to win like that. We want to win with good team play, good strats, good anti-strats. So we're looking to clean it up for playoffs, honestly.
In terms of that, though, are you a little bit worried that maybe you've shown too much? You played a lot of maps, a lot of rounds, and those teams looking at you at playoffs are going to be anti-stratting you as well.
Yeah, I definitely think we played a lot of maps, and it's a lot of info for teams that are in playoffs watching us, so we just have to go back to the drawing board and hopefully come up with new stuff in time.
And in terms of those teams, which team do you want to go up against at playoffs?
I'll take Fnatic. We've never played Fnatic before. I'll take Liquid because they look really good right now, and beat Fnatic and EMEA, so you know, one of the two. I mean, Loud we've played so many times, so hopefully not Loud again, but yeah.
Paper Rex would also be fun, I feel like. That would be a fun one.
Yeah, I just want to play Paper Rex at their full strength with something, so hopefully something's able to make it, but yeah.
I also got to ask, you know, we have a lot of meta talks every single time we come into a tournament, the Chamber meta, you know, the Astra, we've been through it all. But for you, I don't even think it affects you because Sova, Sky. I know the Killjoy came in as well, but what do you think of the current meta?
It's all right. I think this Harbor meta is a little boring, to be honest. At least with Chamber meta, you had to push the op back a lot. You had to be a lot more strategical how you played the game. And right now, it's just a bunch of spamming phantoms through smoke. And yeah, it's kind of boring to play, but yeah, I mean, I feel like I could play anything, so it doesn't really affect me.
Yeah, we'll see if maybe you whip out something new as well. I like to see it. Thank you very much, Crash, for joining me, and we'll see you at playoffs. That's it for this match, but we have more Valorant action coming up for you guys. Enjoy the Prime Gaming post-match highlights, and when we come back, it's going to be Foot versus ASE.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching my streaming. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And see you guys to the next match.
Teams are fighting for a